so it'd be fine.
No. It is fine. It is fine. But I just want to make sure you don't get me canceled.
Oh,
Because
only gay.
they expect active, activity. Like, hey, dude, why'd you say that? I don't want to do that shit. But they expect that.
I occasionally have gotten like accused of being homophobic, and I'm like, go check my Twitter. They're like, why? I'm like, just dig a little bit, you'll see why. It's like,
Is it because you're secretly gay?
And then his Twitter's like completely homophobic.
every few days, I like to, like if I see like Matt Walsh or Ben Shapiro or one of them just talking some shit, I'll be like, listen, Ben, straight guy to straight guy who believes in facts and logic. We need to fuck for science, you and me, just to make sure one or both of us isn't into it, okay? Eye contact, the whole thing. You ready? You down, Ben? Then I get blocked. Then I move on to Benny Johnson to do the same thing.
Test. Oh, Betty Johnson. That's a guy. That's a character. Okay.
That's
Test. Okay, there we go.
It was nice asking during the Oscars, just like texting at Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro being like, so, how many Oscar nods you get? Man.
All right.
Am I racist? Didn't even get nominated? Fuck.
All
Damn.
Right. Show started.
All right. Yep. Ready to go. And wait, hold on. Nick, can you talk again?
I guess.
Okay, I got it. All right, we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Wait, 3, 2. Hello, and welcome to Topical Drinks, everybody. And we have a special guest tonight. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nick Goroff. Currently an actor and a voice actor, an author. Worked in politics for a good long while, so I'm sure we'll have some stuff to talk about there. I've actually known Jay for technically like 15 years now or something?
I would say 20.
20?
I mean,
yeah, it would have been 20. 05, yeah. But, yeah, I'm currently actually, it might look like I'm coming to you live from a pillow / blanket fort, and that's because I am. It's my little vocal booth studio here. And, yeah, it's good to be here. I actually haven't done any like live streams or podcasts in quite a while, so this should be fun.
Nice. Okay, great. So here we go. Voice actor, van liver person.
Bus. It's a bus.
It's a bus. As you guys are
Super Duty.
As you guys might notice, Yadu is missing because Gen Z is not all right now, and that's why he's missing today. So you guys will have a nice little picture of my cat the entire time. So there's Thanos as Yadu right now. So as always, let us start with, what are you drinking? And you know what? Start with our guest, Nick. What are you drinking?
Well, I'm double fisting because, well, let's just say I earned this complexion. But I'm also, like I said, I'm an actor, so that also means I'm broke. So tonight it's natural light. I'm in Louisiana. When in Rome, run to Greece.
Natty light.
And on the side, again, going super cheap. This is Quality House Kentucky blended whiskey.
Damn.
Plastic bottle, so it's recyclable. You got that going on.
All right, he's watching out for the environment.
You could bring it back and get free refills,
Yeah, well, I mean, this kind of shit. I'm surprised they don't pay you to take it. Yeah, this is literally bottom shelf gas station whiskey. So I feel like I'm in my element, basically.
Nice. Man, I don't know. Pretty hard to follow up, but you know what? Gabe, try to follow that up.
I actually kind of went off of the norm today.
It's a huge cup.
It is a huge cup, but I promise it's watered down with actual water and fruits and juices. It was made with the rum, the Angostura 7 that Yadu gifted me, and I made it with grapefruit juice, also smashed raspberries, smashed strawberries, some of the sparkling soda stream water, and also orange bitters. The Angostura orange bitters, of course, and it's really good. Oh yeah, and half of a Serrano chili pepper, so it's got some spice, and I'm really enjoying it. I really like it right now, and I wanted to
deep in the recipe box today.
Yeah, you got the sweet and the heat.
Yes, sir.
That's pretty nice. All right,
I guess I'll go
JP.
next.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
am drinking a mead from Standard Meadery. I bought a. You could buy like little 4 packs of bottles, and I bought the watermelon lemonade. It is delicious. So they make. This is a place that just really specializes in meads, and it's pretty popular. So, and they're delicious. I tried their root beer one, but I didn't want to drink it at night because it's loaded with caffeine. Don't want to
Gotcha.
be up all night.
All right, all right. As for me, I'm still doing the beer thing. I haven't bought the right rum like Tom, our previous guest, told me to do. But from Melvin Brewery, this is a New Zealand style pilsner called Secret Knock. There you go.
Nice.
There we go. Right there. Melvin Brewery. I think that's in Wyoming. So fun stuff. I should have done something fancy like you guys. You guys are all fancy, except you, JP. You're the same as me. But either way, here we are. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, cheers.
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 You're fancy because you're double fisting. That's fancy.
No. That's called high functioning alcoholism.
That's pretty fancy to me. That's very fancy words that you just said.
We'll have a disclaimer right here. We are not promoting alcoholism.
Dude, we will promote anybody that gives us money at this moment.
Yeah.
Wait, did you just roll accountability into a joke?
Oh.
No, it's kind of it's a sad irony because like if people from my past at least could see what I'm drinking right now, they'd shame me because I'm a cicerone, like it's like a sommelier for beer.
Uh-huh.
I worked at a bunch of craft shops, and the best job I ever had was I was a craft beer and cocktail critic.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, I take
That's
the
a good
beer home.
job.
Oh yeah, I take the beer home from the shop because we got to sample it if we know how to sell it. And then once I got on these PR marketing lists, like I remember I had a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue show up at my door.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and they just like like twice, 3 times a month I'd get like a box through FedEx of just like top shelf liquor, and and yeah, that was the greatest, honestly best job ever. It's like here's $500 a month to write short blurbs about your increasingly complex drinking habits.
Really? Dude, you should set me up on that. Like, have you ever heard of
Side hustle.
Have you ever heard of the app Untapped? Because it's kind of like I guess the Yelp, but for beer, for craft beer.
Oh yeah.
That
been around
came
for a while.
out. Yeah, that came out around when I had my column, and I had the column on a website called everyjoe.com. And yeah, and that came out, and it was funny because like I remember my editor was bitching about it. I'm like, what? She's like, if people are going to be using this app, why do they need your column? I was like,
Oh.
like that?
And that's how you lost your job there?
No, the entire. Actually, I don't know if you've heard of it, but any of you familiar with Defy Media?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I heard of those guys.
Yeah.
They owned Every Joe, so when they folded, Every Joe was like first on the chopping block. So, and now everyone's got Untapped, and they don't need a professional to tell them how to booze it up on the weekends.
That we could always use a professional alcoholic to tell us what to drink.
I have to admit, I have a confession. I feel kind of stupid. When he said he was a cicerone, I immediately thought like you were like like you just believed in the philosopher Cicero, the orator from the Roman.
Dude, you're not wrong.
That is funny you say that. If I was gonna, like if like I have 2 girls, and if I was gonna have a boy, the name was gonna be Cicero.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you know what Cicero did?
He get the shit kicked
Oh
out
yeah.
in school.
And he was beheaded.
Yeah. Well, and he was also a great statesman.
Mark Antony cut. What? He was a great. Okay, I guess he was. I don't know.
And I mean, he tried to save from a dictator, so that's always good too.
He was kind of wishy-washy though. He after Julius Caesar died, he like got the side of his adopted son, and then he became friends with the enemy of him, and then they were fighting. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? This guy is flaky, and that's why he got his.
You guys are fucking nerds. My God. All right.
JB, one thing I would need to point out with that name though, as somebody who grew up Nick the Dick, you got to think about what the playground translation of a Cicero would be. Yeah. Oh, hey, it's a little sissy boy. And he
Yeah.
just you just force him into the gym and make him do MMA. He's like, I'm not defending you. You got to do it yourself, Cicero.
I do like Gabe's reaction right there, man. We're dealing with a dude that is right now drinking Natty Light in a bus in Louisiana. You said you're in Louisiana right now. Ah,
Yeah.
what brought you there? Where are you parked
Uh,
at?
Well, I'm actually so
Don't
technically
tell-
I'm
At
actually not
Chris's
in.
house, right?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not in the bus right now. I took over this closet space to do the voice acting stuff because it's a lot.
Ah,
But yeah, I'm parked at my buddy's. Parked at my old friend, actually another old friend of Jay and I's from the old days of debating politics on the MySpace. Yeah, we're old.
MySpace.
the old days of the
Old.
resistance, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bush
but,
resistance.
yeah.
That
well,
was
my
such a
buddy's-
great form, though.
It really was, and I've never found another like it. And
Yeah.
MySpace.
yeah,
Great
so-
forum.
It was like 13. It was like 13 years ago. I got drummed out of the union. I was organizing with SEIU, and I got drummed out because, ironically enough, I stood up for my workers.
Oh man, how dare you, dude? Shouldn't have
The
done that.
union, the union world. That's how it works. Like as an organizer, you're trained. Organize these workers. Fight for your workers. Fight for your workers. And then the second the brass, it's cliche, but the second they get close to like a sweetheart deal with management, oh yeah, all your workers are like they're on the chopping block if that'll get them a contract. I honestly I despise 32 BJ to the end of the world. But yeah, I got washed out of that, and my buddy he's an actor. You actually probably seen him in shit like Django Unchained and like Walking Dead. And
Oh shit, really?
yeah,
Yeah.
he was living down. Yeah, he's living down in New Orleans, and he saw I was having a rough time, and he's like, "Why don't you come down here and like check it out?" Went down, ended up renting a room with him for like a year, a little year and change before I had to go back up north. And yeah, then there was like a long period in New Hampshire, which was an absolute fucking nightmare, and a lot of people died. And then finally, I was like,
What? What? Hold on. Let's put a pin
Oh,
in that. Wait, no. Continue. Sorry.
"Oh yeah, I mean, it's not a happy story. That's just a lot of people died."
When
but
is
yeah,
death
New
happy?
Hampshire- Well, there was
the
my
person.
dad. Well, I mean, I watched my dad go, and then
Oh,
yeah, then
Me
like
too,
almost
man.
a year and a week later in my apartment, my girlfriend who was living with me died in our bed,
oof.
and yeah, that was the single most horrifying thing I'd ever seen. And then like my mom and then a bunch of friends OD'd and shit. Like not a lot of people know this, but New Hampshire is like when you hear like the only reason all that Canadian fentanyl we hear about isn't populating in the United States as much is because it's all in New Hampshire.
I guess I
love it
get
there.
stuck in New Hampshire.
Damn.
Gotcha.
Can't get enough of it. But I mean,
Yeah.
they tried, and then like they tried jacking my rent, and they're like, yeah, we want $1,600 a month for you to live in this apartment where you routinely have to chase junkies and crackheads out of the halls with your pistol because the cops won't come. I was just like, fuck this. I bought my bus off some Ukrainians, and
Okay.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah, and she was already gutted, like already emptied out, had a subfloor, and I guess it used to be a doggy daycare shuttle, and like think
Doggy
like church
daycare
bus,
shuttle.
yeah, like church bus or like airport shuttle. It's one of those.
Mm.
Yeah, and I moved in July of 2022, and I'll be honest with you, like I've been in hotel rooms. I don't sleep half as good as I do in that ship. And yeah, made it to Georgia, got stranded there for a couple years, did some things, and then got my tires together. And my buddy was like, "Yeah, well, I bought a house, so why don't you come on down here for a little while?" So I guess I'm kind of restarting the whole cycle. It's like it's a Nietzsche thing. It meets hero's journey.
Mhm.
It's nobody here is the same as they were when I left.
Damn. Okay. All right. Usually we get all serious and stuff around hour in the 10th hour, but here we are. So actually,
Well, it's pretty serious. I mean, I've lost 2 friends recently from it, so it's yeah.
yeah.
I mean, when my parents died, one of the first things I made a point to do was actually write stand-up bits about it, and surprisingly, they kind of landed until like until the bar and the audience kind of figured out like I'm actually telling them the truth here. I'm just couching it. They're like,
that actually does remind me. I was in a bar that was also doing like open mic night or something. This was years ago. And you can see the difference between like a lot of these guys were very like how do I say Carlos Mencia type of people that they're just like yelling the joke at you, like you know what I'm saying, like forcing the joke on you. But there was the one guy that he was the only guy that made me chuckle, and it was the same thing. He just comes in and he's just like, "Hey, how you guys doing?" So he's like the depressed comic, I guess. And then everyone's like clapping, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's like, "Oh, okay, thanks, man. You guys make me forget that my dad died." Or something like that was his first joke, and that made me chuckle. I was like, okay, this is the guy, right?
I always like
After that, he was whatever, but still, he was definitely better than the dude that's screaming out of his lungs about like Lincoln's assassination or something. I think I remember him saying that.
I opened and like I started doing stand up actually towards the end of 2020 or yeah, early 2021, and just open mics, and then I did a couple invite gigs, and then I did some hosting work, and I opened my own open mic. And yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. There are dudes. I think I call it like the Kevin Hart, Joe Rogan effect. These dudes watch moderately funny comedians. No shade, Kevin Hart. And then they're like, "Oh, so I just got to show up and be loud." Did you write
Yeah.
any jokes? No, that's hard, man. I can't. No, that's hard.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's
Mm.
kind of actually. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the YouTube Elephant Graveyard. Um, highly recommend. I actually did link it to the political channel in our Discord. By
I
the way.
watched like 10 minutes of it.
Okay,
about how,
okay.
like,
He had a better video about also Joe Rogan too, but I mean this video was basically about like why comedy is shit right now. And it's definitely Joe Rogan focus because Rogan, I guess, right now is like the master of comedy or some bullshit like that, right?
Rogan and Hinchcliffe are largely seen as that. But credit
The
when credit's
master
due.
of comedy, Joe Rogan.
Well, it's mostly because Rogan has a lot of influence and a lot of new comics nowadays that all have their podcasts that are very popular come from Rogan. You know what I'm saying?
He's so influential that even up and coming comics right now, when they get on stage, they'll try and have like old man titty sweat on their orange shirt.
They want to mimic Rogan with the old man titties and like oh
See,
my god,
I'm a-
nipples like this big. There it is.
I'm a big. I've always been a big Stanhope guy. Doug Stanhope.
Mhm.
Actually, I had him on my podcast back when I was still going live, and yeah, it's like dark comedy when it's smart. That's when it works because I noticed that's another thing is guys will get up and they'll try and do dark comedy like so I raped this girl.
Oof, yeah,
You
they
got
would do
anything
that.
more? Please have more.
Yeah.
One of my crowd pleasers, and I still love this joke though, is so I was the other day I was out for a drive and I passed one of those yard signs that said please drive like your children live here. So I did, and I turned around and left.
Brum, psh. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, I gotta get a sound. Should I get a soundboard for our live cast?
You could
Yeah,
easily. I use
yeah, one of those
soundboards,
like
actually.
boing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably should do that.
Boing.
Be careful though. They can be.
There we go. We
you
got
can
our.
go you can go overboard with them real quick.
Actually, I was about to say we got our first chat here. Rogan on top too long. He will drop like Diddy. Damn. That's a tough take. I like that.
Roll.
I like Rick Roll
You-
311.
You like that? You like that? Jake?
Actually, well, yeah. I mean, I hate Rogan, but anyway, Rick Roll though probably does want to listen. I think I know this guy. Probably does want to listen a little bit about your experiences. You mentioned to us while we were asking you who you are and whatever, that you know China, the former wrestler,
Well,
passed away.
Yeah, I didn't know her. A buddy of mine actually, Eric Angra, is a documentary filmmaker. He got to meet her and know her pretty well before she passed. But well, so I grew up in New Hampshire, and China and Triple H live in New Hampshire. He's still got his property there. But growing up in high school, it was like one of these kind of rites of passage that you and your friends would go and steal Triple H's mailbox. And yeah, like especially when I hit those those teen post skater wow, I really like weed kind of years. Yeah, I'd go hang out with my friends in like their weird basements and in their rooms, and like half of them would like it was like a trophy on display, just Triple H's mailbox.
That's funny.
Like, yeah, it's like, oh,
Selling it.
Yeah, it's like shit. Derek got one of those too. He's like, dude, Steve's got two of them. Like what?
That's
How
crazy.
much? How much money did Triple H had to invest in like replacing mailboxes? Yeah.
And why did he not get one of those cement ones that you can't steal?
I
He's got
guess.
the
I
money for
guess.
that.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess he knew. I guess he respected the rite of passage. Maybe. I believe.
Maybe.
Is it like I think WWF or sorry WWE? Their headquarters is in New Hampshire, isn't it? Somewhere there, I thought.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't. I've never been a big wrestling fan or anything, so I don't really know or follow. But yeah, I mean, even growing up, because like when you grow up in New Hampshire, it feels like a place where nothing happens because nothing does. And then
It's in
then you
Connecticut,
find
by the
out
way.
like
Yeah, I just
Connecticut.
looked it up. Connecticut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. In general, though, outside of Boston, like if you grew up in New England, you're absolutely certain. Like outside of Boston, nothing happens here, nothing worth
Mm.
talking about. And then you find out it's like, oh no, like all these folks live here, and such and such lives here. Like I'm from the same city as Adam Sandler, and
Oh yeah.
here's a fun little bit of trivia. I like to inform people about. Y'all know that his standard like idiot voice, like
Yeah.
dude, that sounds really fun.
The Billy Madison voice. Yeah.
He didn't invent that.
Oh
No.
yeah.
There are a lot of people where I come from that speak like that. My friend Anna was up visiting from Connecticut one time. We're sitting at this bar in downtown Manchester, just out front, and this guy Jamie, bless his heart, as we say in the South, uh, he's talking like, oh, dude, no, so I got this job at the recycling plant, dude. I found so much weird shit, dude. And she's just sitting there. She's just this tiny little goth chick, and she's just gazing at him like, oh my god, this can't be real. And she just starts like cracking up. I'm like, what? She's like, you told me these people were real. I just didn't believe you.
Jeez. Okay. All right. So that's where Sandler's idiot voice came out. Now, to give credit to Sandler though, like I'm not a big fan of like most of his comedy stuff, and especially the new stuff. But like when they have a role that's really him, Uncut Gems is actually the latest one, which I thought was a fantastic movie. Definitely highly recommend if anybody's not watched it. Uncut Gems, but stuff that's made for him, he's good at. But I don't know. I always have like uneasy, like Grown Ups and all that whole series is just dog shit. And then
You watched the series even though you didn't like it.
I saw the first one. I didn't want to see the next
Well,
one. Are you gonna tell
well,
me that the sequel's better, please?
Well,
Could be.
there's a funny trick to that though. Actually, so if you look at Sandler's like outside of his real movies like Uncut Gems, um, I also think
Punch Drunk Love. Punch Drunk Love. Yeah.
It's so underrated. It's so good.
No,
and
that's a
he's
good one
so
too.
good in it. Yeah. But I mean, well, if you look at his Netflix movies, for instance, like all of his releases now, there's a theme through all of them, and it's Adam Sandler takes his friends and family on vacation to usually Hawaii.
Mm.
That's all these things are. Literally, that's all. Like he knows what they are. In fact, when Uncut Gems got snubbed for an Oscar nomination, like before they came out, he's like, if Uncut Gems doesn't get at least a nomination, I'm gonna make 5 more Netflix movies as punishment.
No. So he's conscious about
great.
how bullshit it is.
Oh,
I mean, 100%. He made the money, and he's like, I'm gonna make a movie in Hawaii, so just so that the production studio can, send him off to Hawaii for vacation. 100%.
is it? You remember,
He's still giving a shit, especially
remember
grown ups.
you remember 8 Crazy Nights, right? Everyone remembers that.
The cartoon, right?
Yeah.
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 Well, in that, it's just interesting trivia as relates to where we're from too. Though, is in that movie, there's the old couple, and the old lady's got that sister who's got that like big baggy face, and she's like always crazy, right?
Right.
That's actually what Apples for Apples based on a woman named Linda. Linda's a downtown staple in Manchester. She looks exactly like that. She's like fucking 3 foot nothing or some shit. She's just like, and she's like a permanent old lady space cadet. She shows up, rolls up to bars in the middle of the day, sits there, talks about her daughter. Somebody there, everybody always takes care of Linda, so somebody buys her a drink, and then somebody gets her an Uber home, and everyone takes care of Linda. Sandler, having grown up there, bought the rights to use her likeness and her vocal style. because that's how she talks. In exchange for, he paid her something like 20 grand, and he paid her rent for like 2 years. And then every time he goes back to Manchester, he still checks in on like poor crazy Linda just to make sure she's doing okay.
Really? Damn.
Yeah.
We got. I did not expect some New England trivia here in this guest. Just like Tom came out with like all the rum stuff. This is pretty interesting, man. And dude, we're only like what 20 minutes in, so this is gonna be great. You know what?
Yep.
So JP, you know, I said go ahead and you know more about Nick. He's the person that you brought in, so I want to let you ask some relevant questions. I would say.
Oh, there was
About Nick.
we had some discussion. I think we wanted to bring up the toad meme. What was it that you made?
Oh yeah, the time. You guys know that famous Bee Gees song, "I Started a Joke that started the whole world crying." That's kind of my anthem for like the 20 teens. So some friends and I one night got together. We were all drinking, and a buddy of mine, we're not friends anymore. He kind of went fashy, unfortunately. Money will do that to people.
Oh,
Yeah, money does that to
Fashy?
online people real quick, it turns out.
yeah,
And
fashy,
yeah.
Fascism.
But the
fashion.
rest of
No,
us,
wait.
yeah. So there's me, like,
no,
sorry, what?
no, it's fine. It's fine. He gets it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just bear this in mind for the end of this short story. But so the group was primarily consisting of myself, this progressive ex-unionist anarchist Jew, my friend Habib, who's an ex-Muslim atheist from Saudi national living in Dubai. Guy puts his face on the internet with his name and says, "I don't believe this bullshit." I'm like, "Are you trying to get your head cut off, dude? That's
What?
balls."
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's him. There was my bisexual anarchist buddy Jeff, who's a total gutter punk. Like, it was just like, it was an anarchy lefty kind of group, and we discovered that on the British and American census forms, there was a blank spot for ethnicity, just other, and then a blank line. We found out the metrics are something like, I think you needed 10,000 people to identify as a certain ethnicity for it to be recognized by the census. That might have just been England. I'm not sure about. Well, so we just drinking and coming out, and we came up with this ethnicity called Kekistan. Kekistan was in the it was frog people, Pepe the Frog.
Right.
We all know now.
We all know Pepe. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and if you ever if you watch the J6 footage or really any alt-right rally, you're gonna see this big green, kind of Reiki looking flag. Well, so we came up with this joke one night. Had ourselves a fun little meme story.
Oh, the Kekistan flag. I know that flag. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like the alt right picked that up, not really understanding who made it or what it was about.
Right.
And so, yeah, that joke
anarchists.
kind of got out of hand. And I remember when I heard Hillary Clinton refer to these people with the frog pictures and there's a basket of deplorables. I'm like, oh, God, what did I do?
Wait, so you're the one that did that?
I wasn't the one. I was just one of them.
Really?
And the joke got wildly out of hand in a way that none of us foresaw. And it's funny because like to this day on social media, like I'll call Trump and Musk like, shithead fascists. Like I like Mick Mussolini personally, but Mango Mussolini works too. But yeah, and then some like little virgin will show up with a frog meme and the Kyrgyzstan flag in his bio, being like, "Oh, you're just some woke normie, you don't know shit." And I'm like, "My sweet summer child."
Oh! By the way, real quick, one thing. When was and I got this from a YouTube recently. When was "My Sweet Summer Child" like in our lexicon?
It was Game of Thrones that did that.
Game of Thrones. There you go. So
Yep.
everybody I talk to, and even I keep thinking that "My Sweet Summer Child" came before Game of Thrones, and I didn't realize that it. No, it didn't. Apparently, it came from Game of Thrones. But so many people think, wait a second, I feel like I heard that before Game of Thrones. But no, it was Game of Thrones. Now, granted,
It was.
Yeah.
the show came out like much like what, like 20, I want to say 2011, 2010, 2012. Yeah,
Sounds about
2011.
right.
About 2011 or 2010 because I was in Cleveland when I first saw it. So that had to be around that time, right?
Yeah, it was when the Blackhawks were winning championships. That's how I remember.
2011, April 17th.
2011. Thank you, Gabe. And yeah, my sweet summer child, and I keep saying that so many times too to so many people that are like, you think they're naive or just, whatever.
Mm.
And I never thought, I was like, why do I
a
feel
great
like I
phrase.
heard that before? It is.
It's a great
I love
phrase,
it.
though.
I love it.
Do you know who H Bomber guy is?
Yeah, I know that guy. I think we all
Yeah.
know progressive YouTuber, BreadTube, I think, part of that.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, because like when I started on YouTube, like I was doing the contrarian, like Christopher Hitchens thing, because like I saw like the progressive left that was emerging on the internet was the same thing I saw seeping into places like the Union and like.
Oh, really?
organizations. Well, and it sucked too though because like I remember SEIU, they were so committed to this diversity notion, which I loved, but like they had a campaign organizing home-based daycare workers in Rochester, Minnesota. So money, suburban Minnesota out just surrounded by rural areas. It's like a Michelle Bachmann district. And they're like, you know what we should do?
Oh,
We should
jeez.
send this scary looking white guy with his giant head and his comic book villain face. And let's see, two large young black men from Brooklyn, and let's send a very militant small lesbian from Florida there, and I'm sure they'll be let into the houses left and fucking right, and nothing got done, and they're like well organizers. Why aren't you doing your jobs? It's like, what is your job? Like, who made these decisions and why? I get it, but I mean, it's not working.
What?
I'd be pushing. Yeah, well, I was commenting about shit like that, and then like H Bomber and I got into a few like arguments, which were fun. I like the guy, but it's because of him. I'm an atheist Jew, right? But ever since he did that chopping through the wall, asking
You're
Ben Shapiro-
ethnically Jewish? You're saying?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
me
I was
too.
gonna say how. How.
I saw
Like,
I
was
saw Jorge's confused face, so I was like, let me clear it up for him.
like, yeah, I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
He was like,
It'd be even funnier if he's like an atheist and then converted to Judaism, and that'd be
I
it doesn't believe
converted-
in it. Like that'd be funny.
I was born atheist, and then I briefly converted to Judaism for the free surgery, because I'm told it makes it look bigger. But
doing
no,
that
it's
as an
'cause of
adult
H.
sounds
Bomber
like a
guy.
horrible idea.
I know it does.
Does anyone know anyone
bad as
who's
a
been
baby, too.
circumcised as an adult?
Actually, I
Doesn't
did.
no matter if it's a baby.
No, here's the funny thing about it, circumcision thing. I thought circumcision was mostly like, oh, they have not a rite of passage, but like a ceremony in Judaism. But circumcised people happens everywhere. Like that
It's,
isn't just Jewish.
I don't.
I
know
mean,
what that means.
You're telling us too much information about you, Jorge, because you're so
Right.
the fact you know so little about circumcision is so.
I like the fact that we got. I like
You know what? I don't want to say.
You're telling us
Yeah.
too much
my
information
sweet
about it.
summer child.
But I am just saying that mine does look bigger.
Jeez.
Well, I was just gonna mention though, like H Bomber guy is.
Oh, well,
I know how to bring it all back around.
Damn.
I was just gonna say that he's the reason I really like using the term "my brother in Christ." Like when someone's doing something stupid, be like,
yes, my brother in Christ. I love that. I love that one. I use that sometimes too. I did get an auto mod from Max. Max, he said something that I don't know if I can allow, buddy.
Oh, there's some action.
Yeah, we got some action in our chat now. I told them all about you living in a van and that you knew China, but I guess you didn't know China.
I didn't know China. I know Vermin Supreme. That's not it.
Vermin, okay, there we go. Let's talk about
Supreme.
that. Vermin Supreme, guys. Do you guys know Vermin Supreme?
No.
Chat.
I do.
I'll
Yeah.
I'll put up a picture of Vermin Supreme while he
Vermin
talks about it.
Supreme.
I could possibly get him on your show if you wanted.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll shoot him a DM right now.
He looks like he's a big giant trumper. Not that that's a problem.
No,
Not that that's a problem. I'm just warning you guys.
Don't
no.
let the looks deceive you. Don't
Do
judge
you
a book
not-
by its cover.
No. I'm saying there's pictures of him
Oh,
at the
do you-
Trump rally with a broom.
That's
Oh, yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's fine, whatever. But can we handle him in this? I'd be down.
He's
I would
Oh,
be
if you want to
down.
handle him, let him go.
he, yeah, he's a great
What's
guest.
up with the
But yeah, you
boot?
do.
Why does he wear a boot in his
You,
head?
You know what? Maybe we should ask him if we get him in the chat, dude. If we get him, that will get a lot. That will generate some views, guys.
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
just-
for sure.
Sure.
all right. Oh, Rod Weber. Okay.
Gabe has no idea what's going on. So
The,
yeah,
the
he
boot.
trolls the right, and that's like one of his sticks.
Oh, he's known for trolling
And
the right. Okay.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
That's why he
You
wears a
don't
boot
show
on
up.
his head.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Everybody, chat. There it is. Vermin Supreme. Oh shit, I don't have. Oh, there we go. Okay, damn, I did not set this up. I'm stupid. Sorry. One second.
So he's one
Well,
of your
he-
guys,
he
New
runs-
Hampshire. He's New Hampshire.
He's
New Hampshire.
he's
New
actually
Hampshire.
from he's from Mass.
There you go,
he's-
Vermin
yeah,
Supreme,
he's from
guys.
Massachusetts. Yeah, he's a bit of an anarchist. He used to be with the Libertarians until the Mises Caucus took over and turned that into shit because they stopped having good parties and started arguing with each other too much about dumb
Mm.
shit. But
What?
but no, Vermin, like he runs for president not just every election but every year. He promises if elected, all Americans will get free ponies, and you have to have it with you at all times because it's your national identity pony, so you don't want to get caught without it.
Oh.
He says shit like Vermin Supreme as president, I'm gonna come and take your guns, and I'm gonna give you better ones.
Jorge would like that.
That's actually
I
pretty
do
funny.
remember that. I do remember that shit.
Wait.
He did. He and Rich, his campaign manager at the time. It was like closing in on Christmas. It was during the election cycle, and he showed up to my old apartment, and I had like a studio, green screen studio, and everything set up in the living room. And Vermin had this thing, so it was like a live stream fundraiser. And every time anybody who donated like $20 to him, he had this huge stack of Christmas stockings and like a glue and glitter. He'd write their name on the stocking and then glitter it and then send it off to him. And for 3 years after we did that, I was still like, doesn't matter how many times I vacuum, I was still finding glitter in the carpet constantly. And if you look up, actually, if you can run this clip though, there's a famous clip. He's at the New Hampshire Institute of Politics for the alternative candidates debate one year. And there was a guy, a Democrat, who was like he wasn't a Democrat, he's just this shifty Republican douchebag. And he was one of these like hardcore transphobes, hardcore like homophobe, just douchebag. And in the middle of this thing, they're like, well, final statements, and they're like, Mr. Supreme, what is your final statement? And he's like, well, I'm Vermin Supreme. He puts this little he puts this little noise box down. This just does a jingle, and he's like, I am Vermin Supreme, and you can vote for me. Oh, and one more thing. He stands up, walks behind Randall Terry. He's like, God told me in a dream to turn Randall Terry gay. And he just reaches in his pocket 2 huge fistfuls of glitter, and it just bang, glitter bombs the dude right on C-SPAN. He's gay, everybody. He's gay now. It's all okay.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
real quick. Let me. Okay, Chad is talking about. Okay, so Max Powers is basically trying to tell us how circumcisions work. It's an oral thing. That's really what he's trying to say. That's what got auto modded, actually.
Oh,
That's
geez.
not how it's done, Max.
That's not how it's
Oh,
done,
God.
Max. That's not how it's done, Max. Okay. And then also, I don't know. You guys are seeing the screen right now. This is Vermin Supreme 2024, which I guess is old now. Follow Vermin throughout all the timelines. So he believes in multiple timelines. That's cool. And then at the very bottom, it says free pony registry on his website.
Wait, Vernon guy has a
Vermin Supreme.
He has a website.
Yeah, look up. Yeah, vermin2024.com.
Oh, yeah?
It's on the screen right now in the
He and I almost got run over by Obama's motorcade once.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
I was back in New Hampshire, and it was there was like Obama was speaking at Central High, and Vermin really wanted to get close enough to him to offer him a cigarette. And
Really? Oh, that.
because he's a former
Okay.
smoker.
He just quit.
Yeah.
Well, so we're on this side alley by the school, and like I don't know, like apparently we accidentally breached like the security perimeter or whatever. But the thing about the presidential motorcade is it doesn't stop for anything,
Mhm.
and so we ended up like we're just like pressed against the wall, and it rides by, and it's like we see Obama like say slow down, and we see him like looking out the window like, and he sees Vermin with his hat, and he's got like a Wonder Woman shirt on, and this glittery leopard print like woman's jacket, and I think he had his Hulk fist cod piece on too. And,
What?
yeah, he made a cod piece with like one of those rubber Hulk fists. He'd walk around at Republican conventions and be like, "Want a fist bump? Want a fist bump?" None of them ever did. But yeah, that happened. We ended up getting shuffled around into like this crowd that turned out to be like Romney supporters. And while we're there, Vermin's on his bullhorn. He's like, "Free ponies if you vote for me. This guy won't give you ponies." There's Secret Service snipers on the roof of the school, right? And I'm like Vermin, and I could see that like they're binoing. I'm like, "What the fuck is this guy?" I'm like, "Vermin." And he's like, "Oh, vote for Vermin Supreme." I'm like, "Remind them it's a public school." Oh no, first he's like, "Vote for Vermin Supreme. Also, don't do it. There are people who love you in this world. Climb down and be safe." And then I was like, remind them it's a public school. He's like, "Oh, that's a really good point. Be very careful where you walk on that roof. It hasn't been maintained since the 50s. Oh, and
Okay.
at the end of that, just for the
great.
capstone of that, it's just because it's coming back to me now. So the road we're on, it like the school's here, the road goes up, and then it like splits, right? So there's this little
Right.
triangle median. Vermin just figures out that the motorcade's gonna have to slow down there so he can offer him a cigarette. So we go there and we're standing there. There's like 4 of us. A Secret Service agent rolls up and he's like, "I'm gonna need you to move." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. I don't like fucking with cops, let alone these guys." Vermin's like, "No. Why? This is public property. I pay taxes here maybe at one point, and this is mine. I can stand here if I want to." "Yes, sir, but I'm gonna need you to move." "Why though?" "For your safety." "I feel perfectly safe." "Do you feel safe? Here, have a sticker." This is a junior agent. This is what I noticed. This is a junior agent. He's got a little green badge on, like a little tiny green button. He goes, gets his supervisor, older, gruffier Secret Service guy with a red pin comes up. He's like, "All right, sir, I'm going to need you and your friends to move." He's like, "Well, why do I need to move? Here, have a sticker." And he's like, "I don't need a sticker, sir. I'm declaring this a national security zone." He's like, "You are declaring this patch of concrete here? Everybody, this is now a national security zone. Everybody, stay away, stay away." And so yeah, he knew they'd do it, so he had us just stay there so Secret Service could make a declaration that this 1
Wait.
10 by 5 patches concrete was a national security zone.
Guys,
Wait.
guys.
That's
You
great.
saw the comment,
Should-
not enough drinking? Hold on.
Yeah,
I got a
I
question
just-
for you.
I just got another drink right here, buddy. Whoever said that.
Cheers to you guys. Cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
Slava Ukraini.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, lava Ukraini. Yes.
Salud. Hey, so your V-neck you wearing right now, that's a V-neck you have on, right? Nick? Is that that- it's a crew neck? No, it's a crew neck. Oh, okay.
Are you
Does
gonna ask about the colors?
I'm gonna ask
the-
about the pocket. Whoa. Oh, it's an actual fucking functional pocket. Okay. I thought it was an image of a pocket. Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry. Sorry to cut you off for that. That's alcohol.
Actually, I was going to ask the colors were anarcho-capitalism, since you said you're kind of a bit of an anarchist.
That wasn't on purpose.
I had to look it up to make sure. It's like those are the anarcho-capitalists. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, this. So when I worked in the beer world, most of my
As a cicerone,
well, yeah, as a cicerone, as a salesman, as a critic,
as a philosopher, follower of Cicero,
as a honestly,
discipline,
the history to beer, the history to beer and alcohol in general. Like JP's drinking mead tonight. Mead's actually the oldest alcoholic beverage on Earth. It was the first one ever done, and it was
Where was it done? Where was it done?
Wait, was it?
Thought to be Norway or northern France.
Nope. I'm gonna argue against that. I'm gonna argue against that shit.
No, if you know where it is.
I hear that Egypt is the first place that invented beer.
No, you're wrong.
Possible.
You're
No.
wrong.
Oh, we're talking about mead,
I'm wrong.
not beer.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
And here we go.
We're
We're
talking
bringing.
meat.
I'm bringing up. I'm bringing it up right now. Single guess right here. Okay. Earliest known alcoholic beverage was fermented drink of rice, honey, and fruit from China.
Cement.
7,000
Oh.
7,000 BCE.
No.
okay.
Wow.
7,000 BCE? No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Well,
What's
well,
the source?
China pretty much invented everything that
No,
America
no,
claims
no
to
offense to
invented.
China.
Yeah.
No offense to China. I'm not trying to doubt you guys.
Well,
I'm just saying,
let's go.
what
Let's
are
go.
the
This
sources?
history of alcoholic drinks. Discovery of late Stone Age jugs suggested that intentionally fermented beverages existed at least in the Neolithic period, 10,000 BC. Okay.
What?
Wow.
What?
That's
Uh,
People
wild.
just saying
People-
shit. People
the-
just
okay,
saying
How did you get
shit.
drunk back then, man?
Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, people been drunk. People be drinking.
We have
Okay,
no
here.
documentation from that time. The
The
first,
oldest verifiable brewery has been found in the prehistoric burial site in the cave near Haifa in modern day Israel, which is the cradle of humanity,
Oh.
right? Researchers have found a residue of 13,000-year-old beer that they think might have been used to ritual feasts to honor the dead. As early, and then here we go. Now they're talking about the 7,000. 7,000 BC, chemical analysis of jars from Neolithic village Jiahu in Henan province of China. By the way, I don't know if you guys know Dogfish Brewery,
Yeah.
I've
which I
heard of
believe
it,
is in
yeah.
New England, right?
Yeah, I love that. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dogfish, actually, I think they made a beer.
The ancient ale series. Yeah.
Yes. And I've been
Oh.
I stopped it. It was called Chateau Jiahu. Jiahu, which
I
is
had
a
that one actually.
Yes, that's the
Did
one.
you okay, Gabe?
I had that
Never
one
seen it.
a long time ago, actually. A long,
Yeah.
long time ago when I was living in Cleveland. They don't do that anymore, though.
Oh.
I've been
had
trying
the
to-
game for a while.
I've been trying to
Dogfish.
find
And
it
it has
for the
Natty Light.
longest time. I've been trying to find it for the longest time, but they supposedly used whatever recipe that they found in the chemical analysis in the jars and made that beer called the
They-
Chateau Jiahu.
They did those. Well, they did. That was a series they did every year. Actually, they'd find some ancient recipe and then they'd recreate it to the best of their ability. And yeah, they'd put them out in like big 750s. They'd sell for like $22.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
so that was a series that they did.
I, wish
I
knew
like I
that
said,
existed. Damn.
they had it when I was in Cleveland back in 2010, 2011.
Yeah,
No,
I knew it was a
2011.
good one.
And I think they had it again in 2012 or 2013 when I saw it in like somewhere just in a Mariano's or in a Jewel Osco or something in Chicago. And then no more. I've never seen it ever again. And that's makes me really sad. It was pretty good actually. It had like different tastes throughout the time. Like you had the first taste, mid taste, and then an aftertaste. It was very strange. It was all fruity too.
Well, I mean, Americans, we don't understand. By and large, Americans don't really understand beer. Outside of your craft nerds, who are often more increasingly just intolerable nerds anyway. But,
Okay, sure. Okay, buddy.
well, I mean, yeah, but no, it's like the kind of thing like I see people like they'll get like really nice stouts, yeah, or a nice red ale or something, a real like authentic old style beer.
I'm into
And they'll
sours.
just Sour is another one, yeah. Like, but they'll just throw them in the fridge and they'll be like, "Nah, they got to get cold first." It's like this isn't Bud Light here. You get that shit cold so you don't have to taste what it tastes like. That's why it tastes bad when it's room temperature. You take like a stout, you want that cellar temperature, just a little bit underneath, and then that's when you get to really taste the flavors of what you're drinking. Same with sours. You get a sour too cold, you're not gonna get the flavors that they put in there for you.
It makes sense. Yeah.
There we go.
I hear you, Mr. Cicero.
Again,
sir.
I earned this complexion.
I hear you.
He's got the
but I
back
ain't-
scars.
I'm not buying what you're selling. I'm not drinking warm beer. Okay, I've done that before. Never once was thinking like, "Oh, this is the best way to drink this." Never once did that cross my mind.
Well, cellar temperature is not warm. It's like
No, it's cold,
Luke-
but it's not fridge cold.
right.
I mean, you're thinking like
So
50.
he's not talking about like 70 degrees, like room temperature beer.
Yeah,
I mean, I had room temperature cider back in Britain. I fucking hate it. Like, it tasted like what you smell pine salt. That's how bad it was.
It's supposed to bring you down.
Yeah, that's true. Britain did bring me down. London, especially. Scotland was
Britain-
great though. I love
England-
Scotland.
England has, and I'm an accent guy. England's got like countless numbers of accents in such a tiny little space because like everybody learns to speak the language, but they're all just too socially awkward and shy to ask people from 10 miles away if they're speaking it right. And so yeah, you
Okay.
get like yeah, you get like your good Lud, you get your good Manchester people, you get the northern people, and like well, them fucking southern fairies just don't know how the language is spoken, do they?
Dude, that was an excellent impression, man. I think someone said I remember hearing someone saying like the Scottish having Scottish and Irish defeats the purpose of having British or something like that.
Wait, what? I'm
Well,
confused.
The existence of Scottish and Irish, like you don't need Brits anymore. Something
the,
like that.
the existence of Scots and Irish make Englishmen kind of redundant. But that's
Damn.
that's okay because we're very used to being redundant, and that's why we got robust social services here. That way, when we become redundant,
Wait a
like,
minute.
oh,
Wait a
job
fucking
we're
minute,
at.
Nick.
It's like this is
you
a
a-
good trans.
Are
this
you a
is-
voice
this is a good
actor?
transition. There it is.
Are you
There's the
are you are you a
transition.
voice actor that steals jobs from actual Irish people? Like what?
Oh, I fucking wish. Oh, I fucking wish I could stay. Like the thing is, they don't do a lot of they don't do a lot of animation over in Ireland, so it's really difficult to steal jobs that don't exist. You know,
Yeah.
Damn.
it's like me going over to Belfast and being like, "You got any openings at an abortion clinic?"
All right. That was a great
That
transition.
accent does sound good because it reminds me of some dude I knew who at one time, I don't know why the conversation went to butter, but he was like, "You gotta buy the Kerrygold. The Kerrygold is the best butter you can get in mankind." I'm like, "What?" Okay, and I bought it. He was right.
I'm lifting this joke and I forget who from, but it's funnier in an Irish accent. It's like I love how the Americans say, love, their favorite soap has got to be Irish Spring. Like, who the fuck thought? Oh, you know what? I want to smell like the Irish. That's what I want to do now.
Oh, Irish.
Great segue. So voice acting. Again, it's really. I said it. I said it before the cast and all that stuff, but it was really really hard to actually find some of the work he'd done. But the one thing that did come up in terms of the voice acting thing was a fan made movie of Warhammer 40K. Something about corn or something like that, right?
Yeah,
You were the narrator, right? Or no, you weren't.
no. I played I played it was one with corn. Yeah, I played Mago in that one because I did two. It was a channel I really love called Warrior Tier. I fell into the 40K nerd, obsession because you're either in it or you're not. But yeah, I don't know. But no, I mean, I fell
Let's
into
put a
it.
pin on that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I felt. I mean, I haven't played the tabletop yet, but no, I really
Oh,
got
okay.
into
Then
the
you might be on
lore.
me then. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so like, and it's a great video. It actually went pretty viral. Warrior Cheer put out. It's called Ogren's Story. You might have seen it. It's
I
really
did. I
good.
did watch it when I was trying to research you. Actually, yeah.
Oh yeah, and so that voice actor actually isn't the guy who runs the channel. The guy who runs the channel is like he's the producer director for it. And now I'm a professional voice actor, so I don't do free work except when I really want to be a part of a thing.
Except today, right? Yeah, we're not making money until we get the.
You're not.
Until we get.
You fucking liar.
Until we get that sweet Raytheon money, man, we will sell out and we'll give you some of that.
Yeah, but I jumped in to do that. And I actually reached out just because I love the work he did so much, and he was working with like other Warhammer nerd channels and voice actors. I'm like, hey, here's my demo reel. Do you want to give me a part? And he did, and it was great and it was fun. Most of my work's been horror narrations, Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. It's on YouTube. They got a website. I've actually written a lot for them too. So like half of the shit that's on there by me I wrote it, which is nice to double dip. But yeah, I did that. I've done a few audiobooks now. I did.
What's the process of an audiobook? How long does that take?
Depends on the project. Depends on what they're after. If you're going just like a straight narration, right? So like one narrator, no sound effects, no music, nothing like that. You get the script you get into your booth or whatever your studio spot is, and then you just like read. You just read the book, and like I've got a daughter. She's gonna be 17 in May, so that's
Oh wow, she got old quick.
fucking. You're right.
Jeez.
Yeah. JP and I were friends when she was born, and
Aw.
yeah, but yeah, like with oh shit, this whiskey.
So what's the editing process of that?
Oh, sorry. So the editing process normally, and I only brought up my daughter because it's like I found great training was reading to your kids because you give each character a voice and you
Yeah.
emphasize and you tell them a story.
It's funny you say that because like I do that with my kids and they hate it. I must suck at it or something. I'm like,
You know
"Dude, you don't
what?
like the.
It's gonna, what? There's gonna come a day. It's gonna come a day. It's gonna break your fucking heart when they ask, Can I just go to bed instead?" You're like,
Yeah.
Oh no.
Although Quinn, before I got that, it was cute because Quinn, we were reading The Hobbit, and Quinn was like, "Dad, can I read to you?" I was like, "Yes, you can, please." And she put me to sleep, but
There you go.
but no, yeah, but the production and editing process really like usually like it really depends on who you're working with or what the project is because like some people for instance if they're producing it maybe they'll have a sound engineer or a producer they're working with so they just want raw audio from you so like doesn't matter click snaps back like the heater goes off whatever they'll sort that out other times they want finished audio and so in that like I use Audacity it's it's a free program.
Audacity's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah,
It
it's good.
does a trick. It does a trick. It's finicky and it's kind of shitty in that like if you want to really tune it in and get that proper professional sound, you need to really learn noise gates and compression and all that, and you got to tweak it for each different one. But my process honestly is like when I sit down to read, I'll just read until I feel the voice starting to go or tense up or change, and then I'll take a break. If I mess up a line, and this is something it took a long time to learn, if I mess up a line, I'll be reading a line and then all of a sudden I'll be reading a line and then I'll just clap and then I'll do it again.
Ah.
Then once it's
Thank
save the file,
you.
go back over. And
You just
cut.
you just created a new competitor of audiobooks.
Get it, dude. Oh no, honestly,
Ooh.
I don't.
I don't
all
know.
right, I'm gonna throw this out there real quick. This is something I take a lot of joy in turning people on to new artistic mediums.
Okay, I'm glad you finished that sentence. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I take a lot of joy in turning people on.
Man, get your fucking mind out of the gutter, buddy. All right,
If this
continue.
was transcribed for the mutes or the deafs,
For the mutes and the deafs. If the mutes and the deafs ever wanted to read this podcast, they'd be very confused.
And that doesn't make sense either, because if it was transcribed and you let him continue, it literally
Exactly,
you
you'd
cut
still
him
see it.
off. You cut him off.
I'm just thinking it's
Your logic
transcribed
doesn't-
into Braille.
assuming that
Your
their
logic
internet
doesn't make
connection
sense.
is strong, you're assuming that their internet connection is strong.
Do you know how? Oh my God! Do you know how the internet works? If you got like everything's loaded, it's not like it's loading. It's like it's like the Matrix. It's just like loading up, and then it's buffering. That's not how it works. You made it bad. You made it bad for not letting it. Okay. Anyway, sorry. The beer's starting to kick in. I didn't eat much today, so all right. Anyway.
What I was gonna say though,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Dude, here
All
is
right.
like no, if you actually like if you want to get into the voice acting game, dude, I'm more than happy to like show you the resources I use and give you whatever pointers I can to like help you along the way. I wouldn't be an actor if the friend I'm living with now hadn't told me I could do it. And have I made it? Am I on Netflix? No, but I've done like 20 indie films, and I'm proud of most of them. And
I do have one I wanted to talk to you about, but let's continue.
yeah, but I mean after the show, dude, if you wanna hit me up, I'm more than happy to like because I've got free resources.
Nice.
I did two audiobook editions today. One of them, I shit you not, was a really weird one. It's a story about a guy who's addicted to eating tonsil stones.
Ooh.
Don't ask me what those are. I don't know.
I know what those are, but yeah, that's
Oh.
pretty disgusting. That's just
How does he
disgusting.
get
it was
'em?
a fuck-
Is he a doctor? Like, how's he getting them?
He
Probably through himself, maybe.
he makes out with whoever has them, even if it's like an old homeless guy who collects pigeons. That was the chapter I read, and I'm like, I finished reading that, and then I moved on to like this other short, this other sample
Wow.
audition for. It's a story about an archangel who trolls bars just to shit talk sinners. And then I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, what? All right, what's next after this? I'm like, oh, a motivational book for aspiring CEOs. What the fuck kind of job is this?
And then the next one's like, here's some Sonic fan fiction. Go. No?
Oh, there's that. But I'd say honestly, one of the biggest things in like the indie book publishing audiobook world that I see, like one of the most regular things, is gay porn, like gay erotica, and it's always written by women.
Oh, I actually, I'm a big fan. I actually follow him on Instagram. You ever heard of Chuck Tingle? Okay, he knows Chuck Tingle. You know Chuck Tingle, right?
Hang on, I just want to
Google
make sure I'm not
predator.
confusing. I know the name and I know the character, but is he an author?
Yes.
He's the
Wait.
one who writes, yeah, like dinosaurs, did my taxes and then banged me in the butt.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Chuck Tingle is always like the oh man, here, let me bring him. Let me.
I mean,
let's-
the material is goofy as shit, but anybody who can crank stuff out consistently
yeah.
like that, keep your voice, keep it funny, I respect.
Oh yeah, no, the dude was very consistent in everything that he does. Let's say here, bisexual pounded my mysterious New Jersey drone. So like, and every like,
Topical.
That's it.
Topical.
yeah, it's topical, exactly, just like us. He's topical, whatever he's got, and it's always something pounding somebody else's butt,
a
basically.
New York, a Jewish New York deli owner pounded my ass like Gaza. Like,
Yeah, basically something like that. This sentient Thanksgiving parade float eats my right.
Wait, so what's the process of like you find a book that you like, you've read it, and you're like, you know what? There's no good audiobooks of this book. Can you just record it and kind of like publish it, put it up online, or how does that work?
I'm pretty
well-
sure that is not allowed.
you'll get. I mean, you can. You get copyright strikes, but you know.
You can't
Um,
Kindle doesn't like allow you to upload versions of their books that they have available or something.
No, no, no.
Amazon books.
No.
That's
No,
definitely
because-
not a thing allowed.
Yeah, it's. I mean, because you got to just think like an audiobook is like any other piece of media property. You know, it's like a movie, it's like a book, it's like an album, and you know, it's produced for sale. And now, one thing you can do, especially if you want to build a portfolio or a profile, and read things that are already written that you like, is if you go for public domain stuff, and that's actually largely what I kind of got started doing. I read a lot of Rudyard Kipling, like just poetry. I read a lot of Lovecraft. And if you find like actually a really good resource, I'll just tell you this now, and anybody listening who's interested or anybody who wants to try it, if you go to LibriVox.com, it's LibriVox, LibriVox.
Okay.
Maybe it's an A. You'll
Libra.
find it.
I just found the book that's actually public domain, Art of War.
Man,
And-
fuck
You
you,
can-
Rick Roll. Fuck you. Sorry. No, when somebody in our chat just clipped something and yeah, God, fuck you, man.
what is it, dude? What is it?
What
supposed to be
is
fun.
it?
God damn it.
Is it disgusting?
I had one of these in my chat back in the day too. Actually, I had a few of them. So yeah, you always want to feed your clip people.
He definitely fed. Here you go. You guys can listen to this. Wait, do I have? Oh no, I don't. Hold on.
But while you searches for that LibriVox, though, if you go there, it's actually an open source, public domain audiobook library. Anyone's welcome to come and take whatever they want from the selections. You record it and upload it, and hopefully people enjoy it. It can be a really good way to sort of build up a reel and a portfolio.
Here you guys. Here's the clip he just did.
He did say you did say you're a big fan of gay porn, though. You did say that. I was gonna ask about it. I was like, you know what?
I mean, I'm so debauched these days. I don't even think like
Can't even hear it.
any porn does it.
Couldn't hear it.
I've
The
been
mother-
places, dude. I've done things.
the motherfucker like got me out of context. He cut off right when I said I'm a big fan of Chuck Tingle, but he said I'm a big fan.
No,
When you
yes.
said when you said like, oh, I like oh like it was written by gay porn, and I just like, oh, I'm a big fan
You
of
did
Chuck
say
Tingle.
that. You did say that though. You did say that.
Man,
Wait, so Chuck
fuck
Tingle
you.
is unrelated to gay
That's
porn?
great.
Unrelated gay porn? No, I mean, kind of. No, not really. Sort
It's
of. I
erotic
don't know.
literature.
I don't know, but
Oh.
now I'm afraid to say anything right now.
Imagine if Douglas Adams wrote gay porn.
Oh, okay.
You're getting close. You're getting close.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Douglas Adams.
Rest in peace, my dude.
You know
we-
Douglas Adams, Gabe?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There you go.
You saw that? You
Jesus.
like the
Yeah.
movie?
Which
The Hitchhiker's.
that-
The movie was
the one
fucking
with Hitchhiker's
was
Guide.
random.
the one
I
with
read the
Rose-
book,
that-
watched the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, the movie, like, I love the book so much. Like, actually, like, I'm waiting. I'm turning 42 this year, and for my
Oh,
45th
there you go.
birthday, I'm going to get a tattoo of "Don't Panic" in big, bright, friendly letters somewhere on me. Like right now, I've got Vonnegut, so it goes, and I'm like, after I got that, I'm like, all my tattoos must be literary. Fuck pictures. Almost
go.
got a Neil Gaiman tattoo, and then the story came out about him.
Oh
and
yeah.
They
They didn't know who Neil Gaiman
does.
was.
Ooh,
I
you
brought this up to them a few
man.
episodes
Ooh.
ago.
yeah.
They-
We were talking. Ugh,
I
good
still-
stuff.
You
I
don't know
love-
Neil
well,
Gaiman?
I know.
I
We
still
know
love his
of Neil
work.
Gaiman.
It's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah,
I like-
if Yadu was here, you could ask him, Gen Z, do you guys know anything that's going on? And he'd probably be like, no, none,
Wait,
nothing.
He
what did
might.
these people do? They wrote books. What are the
What's a
things
what's
that
a book?
things in
What?
my grandma's house?
Yeah,
Books-
exactly.
Books that were good enough to become movies, though, film adaptations. So
There you go.
Well, the
Yeah.
Hitchhiker's Guide book, the Hitchhiker's Guide movie, though. Here's the thing: if they didn't call it Hitchhiker's Guide, and they maybe removed like the obvious references there, I would have been fine with it as a standalone movie. But as a fan of Hitchhiker's Guide, I was like, this is dumb. This is why did you didn't have to. It was weird on its own. You didn't need to try and hey, I've got a great idea on this. No, your ideas aren't great. Oh, a gun that makes people see other people's perspectives. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Go with material or don't. Sorry.
So actually,
Yeah.
I was going. Okay, I do kind of want a little bit of segue on that one though. Like, so the material that you get, now now the what? Okay, I said before that a lot of things were really, really hard to find. Like, not the voice acting part, but the stuff that's mostly like you just being an actor type of stuff, right?
Film stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the film stuff. So the one thing I did finally pick up was this short film called A Ridiculous Man. And you're telling me it was from a long time ago. I did want to ask though, was it before you had a little bit of, I guess, weight to be like, no, I'm not going to be a part of that? Or you were just like, well, fuck it, I'll take it, right? So for chat, you know what? Describe this short film to everybody.
Oh, okay.
If you want to talk about it.
No. I just have to figure out what's the best approach to explain this thing.
what year was it?
Shot it. I think it was 20. It was either 2013 or 2014. We shot it in because it was after I came back. Like I had to run back from New Orleans back to New Hampshire, tail between my legs, because I ran out of money and family. So, and so I got back up and then we shot that. I forget that it was maybe like Newton, Mass, somewhere in Mass, and the whole film. So it's black and white, and it's shot. It's all internal monologue. So I'm the guy, me, sitting in a park, and he's contemplating suicide. Like he's going over like how pointless and futile everything seems to be, and then he comes around to this notion. He's like, I could just kill myself and this be over with. And it's not your typical like, oh, I'm so sad. It's more like I'm so bored. And then he's going over like, well, I could get a gun, but I don't know how to get a gun. I don't know anyone who has one. I could leave a car parked in the garage, but I don't have a car or garage, huh? And he goes over it, and he's sitting in a park. He's watching kids play. He's watching people go around doing their shit, and then he gets up and goes for a stroll. And he keeps coming back to this idea, like I could just kill myself. It'd be great. It's the easiest thing in the world. And then every time he thinks about it, he realizes it's more difficult than he thinks it at first. And spoilers, like at the end, he just kind of is like, this all sounds like more trouble than it's worth. Guess I'll just tough it out some more. And yeah, it's all shot in black and white.
Yeah, you know, it's you seem to you did remember a lot of it because the whole gun thing I definitely remember was exactly what you said. You know, can I get a gun? But I don't know anybody that has it and all that stuff. I mean, I'm assuming there was probably like a deeper meaning to a lot of things because like the guy obviously found out that like I watched beginning to end. I actually linked the video
It's
to you
been
guys.
a while, so
Yeah, I linked the video to you guys as homework for you guys. I'd be like, okay, this is the only thing I could find of Nick that he did.
No, it's all you got to go to the Spanish as IMDb. Nick's profile's on there.
No. We did go to the IMDb, but I was actually searching for all this stuff. Now, of course, there's a movie that's coming out. We could talk about later that hasn't come out yet.
three
Yeah.
of them. Yeah.
Okay. But Ridiculous Man was the only one that I could like readily find to watch. And then I was like, okay. So first off, were you the narrator? The whole thing?
Yeah.
You were the inner monologue guy? Okay, so you were doing the voice of that guy, right? Which, again, the dude would just walk around. Like, it clearly looked like he was like walking in a circle, and then he sits right back down in the same bench, I believe, that he was in
Different
the first
bench.
place. Oh, it was a different
Different
bench. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming like maybe there was a deeper meaning in the whole thing. Like maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I'm already like 3 beers in and whatnot.
Sean was the writer and director. Sean Yopchik. It was his baby beginning to end. I just shit. I think I might have gotten that role off of Craigslist or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
No, back in the day, you could find indie films posting on there before we had
That's cool.
more resources. But yeah, I ended up doing this. I ended up going down and doing that, and it's funny because like I read, he sent me the script, and I read it over, and I hadn't met the guy yet, and I was honestly really expecting to meet like this dour, depressed artist type, and nah, he was like, "Hey, dude, it's great to meet you, dude. Yeah, no, I'm excited about this project. I mean, what do you think about it?" I'm like, "Oh, I've had these conversations with myself." Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. I'm like,
Jeez.
not really, but okay.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
That's that was pretty good. I mean, like I liked it. I mean, of course, it was like very rough. You know, it felt like a student film to me, like a little
pretty
bit.
much was, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
was.
yeah. Because like
usually where you start. That's usually where you
It
start.
is. That makes
Come out
sense.
of
Yeah.
acting school, and you're not Pedigree, and you're not Wyatt Russell or whoever. Yeah, you do indie films. You do weird little shit like. I wish he'd still put it up. There was a movie. I was only in the end, but there's a movie called Amy in a Cage, and it's got.
I think I was looking for that one too.
Yeah, it used to be available on YouTube, but the director he goes through. It seems to go through these cycles where he's like, I should put my art in the world. Everyone hates me. I need to hide. And back, we can understand that. And this one though, this one actually had Crispin Glover was in this one.
Yep, Crispin Glover and Paz de la Huerta, if you guys know her.
Well, I mean, funny thing is, like with both of them, for like I didn't have scenes with any of them, but Crispin Glover is weirder than he seems in person.
Really?
And he's in my limited experience, he's also kind of a dick. He was trying to poach crew while we're filming. I have this project I'm working on. I think it's really going to be something. I'm looking for crew, and the crew's like, "Yeah, I like work. What's the rate?" Oh, no. Working with me is the payment. Like I heard him say that, and I'm like,
It was like working for college credit, basically, is what he's trying to do. Okay, gotcha.
You let those words leave your mouth and said, "Yeah, I'm good with that." Like, the fuck is wrong with you? Did you get
Jesus.
to the head by a fucking horse or something? And Paz de la Huerta, funny thing, her scenes in the movie, her scene, like her whole character, kind of ends abruptly because she was such a pain in the ass for the director and production.
I heard she's a bit of a diva. What was the movie that she was mostly known for? Nurse 3D, I think was it. Yeah.
Oh, she tried to sue them over that too because she's like, "This ruined my career. Like, you made me look like shit." And it's like, honey,
Like
you,
you
you
are.
showed up. You
Yeah.
showed up for that. You knew what you were doing. Yeah, on this, like, it got to a point where everyone was so sick of her that like the director and the writer got together and they just rewrote this scene and they didn't tell her. And they're like, "All right, Paz. So for this scene, it's real simple. You just need to like walk up to the table, grab this purse, and then walk out the front door." And we had like a whole one level house set built in this warehouse that we're in. So she does that. She takes the purse, she stands, walks off, and slams the door. And then on the other side, the director's waiting there with the paperwork, and he's like, "All right, that's a wrap on you. Thank you." She's like, "What? I have more scenes." No, no, we just decided this was a good place to end this.
By the way, Amy in the Cage, I was not gonna say, but it had like a 3.5
That's
stars in
that's
IMDb.
generous. That's generous.
Yeah, but here you are, man, on the Wikipedia on it. There it is. Nicholas Goroff, Hazmat Tech. Hazmat Tech.
Yeah,
That's what they
I,
credited you there.
yeah. I had lines, and it was funny because so I come in at the end with this team of guys. It's like this post-apocalyptic thing at this point, and these team of guys. Like I was dressed in a fireman's outfit, like just the jacket and the pants, and I have a huge head, like it's fucking enormous, right? So I can't wear hats, let alone gas masks. So everybody else is gas masked up, and mine won't fit, just like right here. So I just take it and I put it on the top of my head. And I'm like, fuck it. And then I'm like, does this work? Director's like, yeah, it works. So like, I'm the only one of the guys in the scene who has his face out. And I was working. Well, I was working with Allison Snyder. She's actually a director out in LA now. She's doing really cool shit. And so she's 19 at the time. This tiny little former Disney Channel star, and she's a vegan, so she's anemic, as it happens, right? So part of this part is like we've got her sat in a chair. She stands up and gives her lines, and I need to grab her by the neck and sit her back down in the chair, right? And so I'm going through the motions of doing it, and like here, there, this, da, 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 da. So we're in between takes, and I'm like crouched in my position, and I look up, and I just see like all along her neck are just gnarly fucking bruises, right? And I was like, oh fuck, like my dad instincts kicked in, and I was like,
Oh
must
no.
must protect child. I'm like, Allison, she's like, what's up? I'm like, are you okay? She's like, I'm fine. Why? I'm like, oh, am I bruising? I'm like, yeah. She's like, it's fine. I'm anemic. I'm a vegan. It happens. I love what you're doing. Keep doing it. I'm like,
Oh
okay.
wow.
All right.
Sit down.
I love what you're doing. Keep doing it. Damn. Well, shit, man. But okay, so I think we talked about the ridiculous man, the directions. I guess it was not big. Oh, I was gonna say though, like it did remind me of a little bit film, students and stuff like that do some unique stuff. I think this movie would have been actually much better if there was just a single cut. I was wondering because like I remember the movie had like several different like angles and cuts and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
assuming like they said cut, and then you have to like walk back in the same spot and then start again. I'm
We
assuming, right?
Well, we knocked it out pretty quick in terms of filming because like I didn't have any dialogue to deliver in scene, right? So I just basically needed to sit around and look thoughtful and pensive and then get up and stroll through this park looking thoughtful and pensive. And then there was the one, you have an idea, aha. And the thing I fucking hated most about the end result, the end product, was how he put in the little trumpet, like, ta-da, sound effect. It's like it was jarring because it didn't jive with anything else that happened in this short film. But yeah, there was that. And then, yeah, then just continue looking pensive, sit down, and look defeated. And that was easy. And then after he sends me, I had my first mic. It wasn't a setup nearly this nice, but I had my first like decent-ish mic. And he's like, "Can you do ADR? Can you do the ADR for this?" I was like, "Well, yeah, it's just voiceover, right? Sure." And that was actually pretty much, I think, yeah, that was actually my first voiceover voice acting experience. Now that I think about it. And yeah, I just had to sit there and just like watch the film and just like I didn't have a paper script. I just had it on a different screen, and I just had to be like, "I've always been a ridiculous man. Maybe not always, but at least since sixth grade."
That's exactly the voice from that, man. Ah, okay. Yeah, I'll link that to the chat here. But it does remind me a little bit like many years ago, and this is something I'm gonna have to track down actually. Film students or film directors, I should say, are probably one of the most like I guess unique people because you do see like what they do and stuff like that, right? And I remember being at a party, and there was this one dude that was a film director. He was Latino from Mexico, and he made a film that was it's a girl that I guess goes into an island, which I guess was like a little bit of a local legend from where he was from Mexico, and the island was just full of like dolls, right?
Oh,
And
I've actually it's ringing a bell. I've heard about that. I know the legend.
really, okay? So
Isle of
this
Dolls. Yeah.
yeah. So this movie, it was a short film from this the director who was there at the party and all that stuff. This girl, I guess, is jealous of the fact that I think her sister is pregnant. It was very strange. It was very like the guy was obviously a fan of like those type of movies that are very like slow pace, a lot of cinematic,
Slow
like
burn.
Blade
Yeah.
slow burn type of situation, like Blade Runner or whatever, right? Um, and I remember that I actually helped him out a little bit because he said he did an ending and he wasn't sure whether or not he should do this ending or this ending or this ending, right? And I told him like the one ending that essentially the girl is looking on top, like where her sister is sleeping, and she's right next to the bed while her sister's sleeping. And then there were three endings, I guess. Was one that she kills the sister. The other ending would be that the next scene, the next scene or the next like shot would be the sister waking up and screaming. And then the ending that I said you should do, which was the one that he kind of showed us, was just the girl there, and then she just moves her arm like that, and that's it, and it ends.
Yeah.
And I was
No,
like,
yeah.
that's the perfect one, right there.
It's a weird thing in storytelling in general. Like, I mean, I'm a writer first and foremost, right? Like that's like my soul, what I do. Um, and you're always told, be it writing or filmmaking or presenting art, performative art in a sense. It's always show don't tell, right? You always hear that show don't tell. Thing is though, is like it's really easy to like take that too far and to think like you need to show everything. It's like no. Like okay, maybe don't tell, like show don't tell, but sometimes suggest and don't show, and that can go a
The,
long way.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. Let the viewer have their own precondition. Actually,
Imagination.
yeah, no, actually, there is a book that I remember reading back in middle school or high school called "Johnny Got His Gun." It's a World War One anti-war book. Uh, it has like two parts. The first part, so the Johnny or like the main character is a horribly maimed soldier, lost his legs, his arm, and his face, right? So the first half of the book is called Death, which is basically him like imagining and like going through like his life and like the war itself. So he doesn't know whether he's alive or dead. And then the second part is like living, or I think is living or alive or something like that, which is when now he's cognizant of his world, but because he has no face and no ears, like he doesn't see or hear anything.
Was this
He can only feel.
was this what Metallica based
I
that
was gonna
song?
say that one.
It's exactly
Yeah.
from the Metallica song. Exactly from
Wow,
the
that's what it
Metallica
was
song.
reminding me of.
Yeah,
That was
Johnny
such
got his
a
good.
Okay,
That's
that's
exactly
why
that's where Metallica.
I
And
knew I'd heard about that
yeah,
before. So
and
yeah,
at
that
the
makes sense.
and the same
such a
thing
good
at the
video.
it's a good book, by the way. It's a very good book.
Yeah.
Highly recommended. I'll show it up here. Um
By the
and
way, that album was all about war, Justice for All.
which
Yeah.
this book Johnny Got His Gun is about World War One at the time, right? Horribly maimed soldier, blah 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 blah, that sort of thing, right? And so here we go. Everybody sees it. Johnny Got His Gun. Highly recommend. Read that when I was in high school or college. I forget. Not college. Sorry, high school or middle school. And at the very end, same thing. At the very end, the author did not like write the last sentence of what you know what he's gonna say. And like at the very end, it was kind of like if the people in charge tell you to point the gun, you point it, and that's it. And then everybody in the class knew that it was you pointed at them, sort of thing. You turn around and you point it at them, essentially, right? Like that's the end of the book, and I thought it was very good because like the author clearly, and look, I was from like white rich conservative high school whatever, right? And even then, like at the end of everybody like that read this fucking book knew exactly what the author meant at the very end was like turn around and you point it at them, the people that are telling you to go to war,
The,
this
the interesting thing with that dynamic too, though, is like if you leave it hanging as it was, but you suggest it enough, it still leaves it open to discussion, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's and it just as a writer and somebody who like makes content and makes stories and when people ask me what I do these days, I just default to saying I'm a storyteller. That's what I do. I read stories, I write stories, I tell them, I act them, whatever. You got a story, let me tell it. And it's funny because that's like that kind of thing is the sort of thing it's a risky gamble. It can be a really risky gamble because it can come off as hack. Like if you don't do it right, and it's that cut to black, like that end of The Sopranos.
The Sopranos ending. Which by the way, he did get shot at the end. Let's say that.
Sure,
that's what I was.
but it's like like on the one hand, yeah, you can generate so much discussion about your story, and not just like people are gonna talk and watch it, but actually like with The Sopranos, people to this day are debating that.
Right.
The other side though is if you don't do it right, and people see what you're doing, they see what you're going for, and they see what you're trying for, it can come off as kind of hack.
Pretentious, I would say, probably.
Yeah, and only because people know what that is already. You're not surprising them with that. If you can surprise them with that, then you've pulled off the magic trick. But if you get to the end and you're like, haha, see how clever I am, they're gonna be like, shut up.
I think the Sopranos thing, like I think over time when people actually started thinking about it, then I think it was good in terms of the ending. But at the time, I know people were like, what the fuck? What the fuck happened, right? They wanted a conclusion. They wanted something like solid.
Something different. Yeah, some people just want that no matter what.
I wanted to ask JP, maybe I'm misremembering, but back in the old MSP, back in the old MySpace politics days, right?
Yeah.
Was it you who was really into Lost, or was that Michael?
That was Michael, but I did watch it. But yeah, the ending of that was something I wanted to bring up too, because that was just like.
I love that because all of the debate, and then when I found out though, like, because the writer's strike happened during that show, J.J. Abrams just fucks off. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna start wearing expensive clothes and being a Hollywood guy now, and I'm gonna make movies that I don't fully plan out."
Same
formula.
Fucking hate J.J. Abrams. Sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, no. I'm with you, and we're in the same boat here. Is because I loved Lost. I loved it, but then when the writer's strike happened and JJ fucks off, and then they start coming in, and then you find out. Like I had a theory. I'm like, I bet he just fucked off and like told the writers and you guys figure it out. No, and it turns out, there was never a plan at all. It was just, hey, this is a neat mystery box we can kind of build. He
was always into mystery boxes. I think he actually didn't he have a TED talk about mystery boxes in general?
I think he doesn't do them well because there's nothing in the box.
He's terrible. Yes, exactly. He doesn't even
box.
Yes, exactly.
What's in the box?
All right, I'll let Gabe and JP take over a little bit. I'll be right back. So go ahead, guys.
Wait, what is a mystery box?
Well, mystery box is like, so you're setting up in a movie or a series or a story. It's when you've got that, the environment.
Oh,
so usually
like Pulp Fiction.
No. Have you seen Severance?
Okay.
Oh, such a good show.
I love it so much.
Yes.
Yeah. So like you're constantly.
That's a great show. Ben Stiller. Yeah, and shout out to Ben.
Well, a mystery box in that sense is like it's when you basically you set up and you introduce people into a story and they're coming along and nobody really knows what the fuck is going on. Like that's like it's some element like that. Like what is going on here? What is like with Lost? It was like, ooh, the numbers and the bunker and all this shit, and they painted it in a way that looked like it would come together and you'd have an answer, a satisfactory answer. Truth is, they didn't plan it at all. Severance, I'm very certain they have a plan. But
Yeah.
that's a mystery box. It's like so you
Oh.
basically like you draw your audience in with both like immersion and confusion. And then you set things up and you play them through in a way to where hopefully they'll appreciate the conclusion when you give it to them. Or if you're J.J. Abrams, you set it up and then piss off and let underpaid writers' rooms try and make sense of the mess
It's like
that you created.
like what he did with Star Wars. Just like
Yeah, basically. Well, I mean, you had one director that had a different version. Like Ryan Johnson had like a different version, which I liked the direction Ryan Johnson was kind of going for, but the execution was bad. Real quick though, Gabe, what you mentioned the Pulp Fiction thing, that's called
That's
a
the
MacGuffin.
Yeah, the MacGuffin.
Yeah. So the MacGuffin is just it's an object, it's a mysterious, but everybody's trying to go after it. What he's saying is basically just here's the entire story is a mystery. You don't know where the fuck you're doing.
I don't
Basically.
know. No, I mean there was a MacGuffin in Pulp Fiction, but it was kind of on the nose. Like, here's your MacGuffin for this one sequence, because that briefcase never came up again.
Right. Whatever was in the briefcase, that
Well,
was
people
the
died
MacGuffin.
for it. People died for
Well,
it.
that's the whole point. It's like people kind of died for it, but I don't know. It is considered a MacGuffin. I mean,
Yeah,
the-
like the
Kinda
best
died.
the best
What do you mean?
example.
That's exactly what they went to go retrieve in the beginning.
Like the best way to describe a MacGuffin, I would say, is like if your story is centered around we must get the thing. The thing is the MacGuffin. Like it's like, oh, we must get the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
We must get the Tesseract. We
Right,
must get
right.
this. Yeah, if you've got the
I
thing
like,
that you all
like
need to go out
Indiana
and
Jones
get,
thing, yeah, the Crystal Skull. But
that's your MacGuffin.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
well, but
So
going
it's
back
not
to Pulp
necessarily
Fiction,
a
I mean, like,
mystery. Then is not mystery
Well,
involved in MacGuffins?
I guess the
No,
difference.
no.
Well, I guess the difference with the Pulp Fiction is like you had part of the story, maybe like half the story about the briefcase because the two, Samuel L. Jackson and John
That was
Travolta's
just
character.
a vehicle. That was just a vehicle. To
It was a vehicle, but it was the thing that like just kicked off everything essentially.
Yeah.
And except until you get to the Uma Thurman stuff and then the Bruce Willis, which by the
Well,
way,
all of-
sad story about Bruce Willis, but we could talk about that later. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, with that though, I
Gene
mean, like,
Hackman too.
Pulp Fiction. That's a weird one.
yeah.
Pulp
Let's
Fiction,
let's
though.
put a pin on that. By the way,
Yeah. I just say though, like Pulp Fiction is largely and rightly regarded as kind of revolutionary cinema because it was one of the first like modern instances where we got a vignette collection where it
That is
wasn't
true.
it wasn't just a collection of short stories though. They were all intertwined. Like they all mattered to each other. So you had a cohesive movie about these characters in this universe, and this is what happens to them, and this is what they do. But it was presented in such at the time a very unique way. And then after that, we got shit like Four Rooms, which oh, I mean, fucking chef's kiss in terms of vignette work on that. And and I mean, since then, honestly, like I'll say there's two actual styles of media that I feel are woefully lacking in this day and age, especially where it's like all cape shit, big studio nonsense, or hey, I got a great idea. Hey, we're greenlight that, but now you got to let all these like talentless hacks rewrite all your shit. The two of them are sketch comedy and vignette storytelling. Because vignette storytelling, another thing a lot of people, and I'm surprised it hasn't really taken off more now, because let's be honest, this era of ours, like it's the age of fucked attention spans. Like,
yeah, they got they're talking about the second screen and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean it's pretty
people
fucked right now.
Yeah, it's like some people have trouble sitting through a single 20-minute YouTube video, right? And something, and this is a weird tie-in, but when I was in Georgia, I was living with my friend, helping him take care of his mom, and she's got like this really aggressive dementia, right? So she's got goldfish recall, like resets, and she forgets who's talking to her and what she's talking about. Now I ended up taking care of her by myself because people decided to drop balls and fuck off and do their own thing. Thanks, guys. But
Uh,
well, this old lady, I've been around for like almost like about over a year. Still didn't know my name, but knew I was that sweet boy who cooks the really good food. And I was trying to think of something to like. I'm like, all right, you need something. And I put on stand-up comedy. I put a Doug Stanhope special on, right? And I noticed that with the dementia, because the recall is so short, stand-up worked perfectly because it's like setup, joke, punchline, setup, joke, punch. It's segmented, so she just was like roaring with laughter the entire time. Didn't remember a single joke the next day, but remembered she had a great time. And then that got me thinking, like, vignette storytelling could be a really good way to keep the attention of these generations that we've got. I mean, I'm 41, so I can talk like an old man, but but yeah, to like keep their attention and keep them engaged, because it's like, hey, if you like Black Mirror and all these, like Black Mirror is a good one. That's a vignette storytelling series because we get enough hints and suggestions throughout it that at least some of these stories are in the same universe and they
Yeah.
affect each other, but not directly.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there were a few episodes that were kind of apart, and like one of the very well. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's all I was really saying though, is like it's like I think I've cracked the code on millennial and Gen Z attention deficit disorder by working with a dementia patient, because there's not a whole lot of daylight between the two of them when you think about it.
It's a good point.
But,
You
I mean,
brought up
it does suck though,
cooking.
because I mentioned the second screen thing real quick though, because like I think there was a movie recently that came out that was basically based off that. I think it was like a fantasy movie. I think it was a Netflix or something like that.
but it was set
But-
up. But it was set up with second screens in mind.
Exactly, yeah, and like anybody that just like watches the movie is just like, what is this dog shit? You know, this
See,
is
well,
horrible.
let me ask each of you a question, if I may. I love asking this question to people, and
Sure.
you don't need the perfect answer, just whatever jives right with you. I want you to name for me a perfect movie, and when I say perfect movie, I mean the kind of thing where like not a scene is wasted. There's not a character you don't like to see on screen. Like I'll start the Princess Bride, right? I've seen that
Okay.
1,000. I've seen that 1,000 times. If it's on, I'm gonna watch it. And there are no scenes or sequences in that movie where I'm like, oh, I can go get a drink, go to take a piss right now. And it's like, no, I want to watch this scene because these people are fucking killing it in everything they do. What's a perfect movie to you?
The Prestige, Christopher Nolan.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Interesting
That is
choice.
a good one, actually. I actually did
Yeah.
forget about that movie.
I think that's
So
It was-
there,
It was
okay,
crazy how sometimes there's movies that are like the same movie made at the same time. There was The Prestige and that other one,
the Illusionist with Edward Norton.
The Illusionist. Yeah.
That was a solid movie
Illusionist,
too, just
Prestige
a
was-
different theme. You know, that was a
Yeah.
solid movie.
I think Prestige was the better movie, though.
Of
To be
course.
Oh
honest,
yeah, for sure.
Of
Both.
course.
Yeah, Prestige was definitely the better
It,
movie.
it was like they made
Um,
the two Wyatt Earps at the same time. It was like, what the hell? It's like,
Well, the Deep Impact and Armageddon. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that actually, there is a YouTube that actually compared the two. Like,
Yeah.
Deep Impact was the better movie technically, but Armageddon was the movie that you'll remember most of the time.
Well, I'm
basically.
hearing a whole lot of dancing around your answer here.
Oh,
Oh, you know what? I wanted
my
to
answer is
say.
easy. I know it.
There's no wrong answer.
You guys go ahead. By the way, David Bowie was in Prestige. That's why it was the better movie. By the way. Anyway, go ahead.
Mine's Matrix. That's just, I think
What?
every scene is carefully done
Solid,
very
solid
well.
choice. Yeah.
There's
solid choice.
cookies in every scene, and
Cookies.
you really got to pay attention. Oh yeah.
Love them. What kind of cookies?
Well, every scene. Well, every scene in that movie too, and it's like, and I think this is what feeds into a perfect movie: is every scene serves the serves the next scene, serves the whole
Yeah.
narrative. Nothing is wasted. Like the second two, and especially that fourth one, they're like,
Yeah.
hey, like, do you think we could just like milk the exposition here? Like, how
Yeah.
much? Like, we dry the teat is what I'm saying. Just dry it out. We'll cut the cow up when it's done. Yeah, but that one, no, it's like another one for me. Just throw this out as an idea: is Kung Fu Hustle.
That's a pretty good movie. That's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, beginning credits to credits, There's like
gets
not a single scene or single character I don't want to see.
yes, but there's a bunch of like there are no perimeters of what's the reality, how it's grounded. I think there is no
Yeah.
box, and I don't like that. I think you need to define the perimeters. And for example, like in the beginning, when he's like harassing this little village, and they got this big giant muscular man, very tall dude, and they don't do shit when the X Gang come, but these other guys pop up out of nowhere. But he's so fast that no one can see him move to turn on to unlight a lighter.
Go. Sorry. Yeah, I kind of agree with Gabe on that one. Kung Fu Hustle was a little bit weird with me, which I think what's his name? Stephen Chow. Stephen Chow.
Yeah.
Stephen Chow. Yeah.
Shaolin
Stephen
Soccer
Chow
is a better movie. Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, I would disagree there. I think Kung Fu Hustle was the better movie than Shaolin Soccer, but both of them had a big problem in terms of writing. So a lot of side characters just didn't make sense. Kung Fu Hustle also didn't make sense for me because the axe gang comes, and you thought like the village was like
Prepared.
well, no, like
Yeah,
the
get out of the
prey.
apartment.
Right. But then they had this one kid. You just I don't know if you mentioned. Yeah, they had the one kid that was all buff and stuff like that, kicking some dude's ass, and then suddenly they're hopeless because all the axe gang comes, and then you had these random dudes that came in. Like there was a little
right.
bit of like
No.
weirdness to that to the movie show.
I remember that, and I remember actually it was. This vape is dying. I'm just breathing in. Coil.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but no, it's what I realized on my second viewing of Kung Fu Hustle was that if you watch it like a cartoon, like an old Warner Brothers cartoon, and I figured this out when especially on the chase scene, where
Yeah,
your
of
legs are
course.
just doing.
Yeah, no,
everything.
it was
You got the
purely
snakes,
that. Yeah.
and he got the
Yeah.
snakes, and his lips get all big, and he's
Yeah, when
Yeah.
when you watch it like it's a cartoon, you realize like that muscly kid, right? It's like that's not a
Right.
character. That's a bit.
I think it's a
Like,
solid
it-
movie for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not hating on that movie, but for sure.
Well, who has
Okay,
the
so
answer though? Who hasn't answered the question?
I have not answered actually. That's where I'm going to go at.
Right.
Okay, so here's the thing. I got, and we actually had this topic last week. So I got two types of things that I love. I do love slow burning movies, right? We're talking like the Blade Runner 2049. Like I love Denis Villeneuve stuff, right? Arrival is one of my favorite ones.
That was good. Good.
Uncut Gems, obviously, I love. Which I know Uncut Gems has like it's not very slow moving, but at the same time, like every single scene is with a purpose.
It's
And then we go
intense.
back. I love District 9. I know there's a lot
Ooh,
of
that was a good one too.
yeah.
I love
I
that movie.
I know there's a lot of like issues with like apartheid South Africa that like the director Neil Blomkamp was trying to talk about, but at the same time he wasn't really helping that much. But I still absolutely love that movie as a sci-fi movie. It was one of my favorite sci-fi movies at the time. And then going back now, so you kind of understand the type of movies that I really like. And then when we're talking about shows, like I keep saying, and Yadu's not here because I keep trying to remind him, fucking watch Andor. Everybody should watch Andor. Fucking love Andor. Regardless. Season
Haven't seen it
2. Go watch Andor now.
No, I'm going to. It's not that it's not that I'm opposed. I have this thing
I
where I
love it.
realize like if I see a series or same thing with video games, if I see like a big project, big property, right, that I know I'll like, I know I won't get fucking anything done until I'm done with it. You know?
Well, lucky for you, Andor, I think only had at most 12 episodes or something like that. It's a short
Probably
thing,
less
but
than
it's
that. Yeah.
it's beautiful though. I absolutely love it. Highly recommend.
I'll give it a watch when we
Get-
finish here because this sounds like a really great place for you to pivot into politics, which I imagine you want.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I got to continue a little bit. I was also gonna say another movie that probably like you guys would prefer is Mulholland Drive.
Oh yeah.
Mulholland Drive. Holland Drive. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it always has the iconic scene with the guy that's describing his nightmare, and then there you are, right? That's what happens, right? David Lynch stuff, Seven, and everything like that. Now, here's the other problem, though. I'm also into movies. Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. I'm also into movies that when I was a kid, or not a kid even, like even when in high school and stuff, my parents had Stars Movie Channel, and Stars Movie Channel would repeat the movie over and over and over again. They would actually repeat The Prestige a lot. So that's why I love The Prestige. But they would also repeat Stomp the Yard. And I
Oh my gosh.
keep,
This again.
It's a bit of a pivot.
no matter what, I don't know why. It's like there are 3 movies that actually I should say 2 of them are bad. One of them I think is good. But 2 of them I know for a fact is bad, that they would play over and over and over again, and yet for some fucking reason I would always watch it. Stomp the Yard, Born Supremacy, which I think is the good one, and Battlefield Earth.
Battlefield Earth, I loved watching it. It's so bad, but it was so
horrible. The
you had
movie's
to watch
so yeah, it's so comically bad. Like it's so bad, but I just keep watching it. And then Stomp the Yard is the same thing. Like, dude, like fucking like what's his name? Chris what? The dude that beat Rihanna. Oh,
Chris
God.
Brown, of course.
Chris
Jesus.
Brown, thank you. Chris Brown got shot and killed in the opening act. After they fought a dude, they dance fought a dude that had like his tattoo saying thug on his chest. That shit's hilarious. And like I'm like trying to figure out, even in high school or middle school, whenever it came out and all that stuff, I think it was high school. I'm like thinking like, how do they rate these dance competitions? Like, why is that guy better than the other guy? Like it just like blew my mind.
I agree with you, man. Honestly, I thought, for instance, back during the Olympics, that Australian breakdancer was just amazing.
Oh, she was awful. What are you talking about?
Well, keep in mind.
What's her name again?
Was it like,
Ray Gun. I think it was.
I wanted to say Buzzsaw for some fucking reason.
No, it was Ray Gun. I know it was Ray Gun. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But they also played The Prestige a lot. That's why I didn't mention The Prestige. But The Prestige I absolutely fucking love. I think Gabe, that was really good that you mentioned that. I actually feel like that's my favorite. I mean, it could be my favorite Christopher Nolan movie. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, let me ask, what did you? Because I've asked a few people this, and I want to hear everyone's opinions. But what did you guys think about Tenet?
Tenet was.
I hated it.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. The music is too good to hate it, and
No.
you don't even know what you're saying right now.
I saw the
You don't
movie.
even know what you're saying right now.
hated the movie.
But the
I
music, you
hated
don't even
the
know what you're
movie.
saying right now about the
No,
music.
the
though.
music is fine, but that doesn't make a movie,
Fine?
dude.
I'd
The
have
movie
to
was
watch
so
it again.
fucking stupid. No, it's like it doesn't even matter. Like even if here's the problem with Christopher Nolan movies and Christopher Nolan in general. Maybe not a problem for Christopher Nolan, but there is a problem with how he's writing because he makes these rules, right? And you got to follow these rules in his movie. He did the same thing in the
I just
Dream
want to
movie, the Dream movie.
I know. Hang on, I just want to
Inception.
check real quick.
Inception, thank you.
I know.
Go
I
ahead.
get that you're a politics nerd, but are you a physics nerd at all?
I mean, I had to take a lot of physics as an engineer, so yeah.
But okay, so all right, so you understand like reverse entropy and stuff, right?
That's not my problem. No. So that's the thing. That's not my problem with the movie. Okay. Here we go. Here's my Tenet rant. Okay.
The villains or the henchmen.
Yes. That's the big. Okay.
Random
Here's
shit. Like what the fuck is this?
Again. You look. You follow Christopher Nolan's rules. Okay, whatever. He did the same fucking rule in Inception. He's like suddenly there's like what do they call it? Purgatory bullshit. I was like, okay, cool. I guess you said that in the very beginning. Anyway, regardless. Tenet on the other hand. Okay, got it. Reverse entropy. Cool. How do we make this, right? But the problem is that one, all the fucking characters were like, I did not give a fuck. First off, like, why the hell does this bad guy have like this? I guess if he dies, he's got this like world killing like information that he's gonna release. And then he's got this girl that I guess is the love interest of the main character, and then she tries to kill the guy, and then yet for some reason the bad guy still keeps her around even though she literally tried to kill him. And then like the final scene of the movie when they had this whole fucking war zone thing, who the fuck were the bad guys? It was terrible cinematography. You don't know what the fuck is going on. You don't know who the bad guys are that they're shooting at. They're just like, they could have been shooting at random nothing. Like, I feel like Nolan just like fucking phoned it in.
Wait, slow down. You're not putting enough attention to the time period when it was made. It was made during a horrible time of America and of the world. COVID-19. It was a rough time. Things were fucking. I know they had a rough time filming that
That
movie.
is not an
Yes,
excuse
it
to
is,
make
and
a.
it- She
That is
opened the
not
theater.
an excuse.
AMC opened the theaters for that
He-
movie.
Yes, and that's actually another problem.
And
Remember,
then look at what happened to the stock price.
exactly. Dude, no matter what happened, that's a different story. But no, dude, yeah. Even when that shit happened, he was like saying everybody should go in the theater. When everyone was like, "No, fucking stay home, shut the fuck up." And Tenet was not worth going to the theater. That movie was
Okay.
so fucking bad. I'm sorry. And look,
No. You don't have to
that-
apologize.
that's my
because one
rant.
thing
That's my
I
rant.
ask- No, I ask because one thing I enjoyed it myself, and I've noticed though there is no middle ground on the movie.
I'd
There's
watch it
nobody who's
again.
like, it was okay. It was either like I liked it or I fucking hate that movie.
I'm the middle ground.
Yeah.
I think it was okay because
I'm in the
Alright.
fucking. I fucking hate that movie.
imagine
Sorry.
you got like some. Imagine you got like a Japanese Wagyu beef burger, okay, burger, and you put
I
it on
have
like a
Wagyu in-
on a ballpark hamburger bun. That's what
No,
it
that
is.
is a.
You
No,
know, it's
no,
like there's some
just-
great components of this burger. You know, there's some great.
Yeah, man,
things.
that's what they
I
gave you.
wanna-
They gave you like a beef patty, and then they dipped it in shit, and here you go. This is Tenet.
Well, I want to help you pivot.
Fuck
I want
you.
to help you. I want to help you. I
Hate
want to help you
Tenet.
pivot a little bit, and I'm gonna do it with a little bit of a poem because you mentioned Battlefield Earth,
Yeah.
which, as we know, is it's just an allegory for Scientology.
Scientology. Yeah.
Well, I wrote this back when Linkin Park brought on their new vocalists. Did you remember that?
Oh, is she that crazy girl? What's her
Yeah.
name?
The crazy Scientologist lady.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I wasn't okay.
Well-
So I'll be honest. I wasn't a big like Linkin Park was big back in my high school days when they first came out.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
wasn't a big fan of them, even though I was like an edgelord dumbass kid that loved Godsmack and Mudvayne and that type of music back in high school. But Linkin Park did not
Well,
hit me though for some
well, I-
weird reason. Go ahead.
When they announced that Emily Armstrong was taking the place of their for their lead singer there, I wrote this, and just I need you to imagine the song behind it, but it starts with one thing. I don't know why. L. Ron Hubbard is my favorite guy. Dianetics time and a sexual crime to explain to your kind. All I know, wives are a valuable thing. Where's Dave's wife? He's Scientology king. 17 years, 1 month, and 4 days. The church takes life away. It just ain't real. I need to finish that.
Guys, you just
yeah.
reminded me. We really need a musical guest in our show one day. We need Vermin Supreme, and then secondly,
Well,
we
I think
need a musical
could-
guest.
We could plug our guest for next week, DJ Flipside.
The DJ Flipside. Do you think he'll play a set for us?
I don't know. Maybe he would.
We can ask.
We could ask. Yeah.
Yeah, Nick definitely said.
could
By the
get-
way, by the way,
I can get
Nick.
you Ren. No, I can't.
Oh, whoa!
Okay.
You could
No, I
give me
can't.
Ren.
I can't. No, I can't.
Fucking A.
You can get
I
Steve.
was like,
Did you say you could get Steve Aoki, dude? What? Dude, if you get Steve Aoki and everything, you could probably save my marriage. I'll
I
just.
could, I
Dave
could,
and-
there is. I don't know if you know who he is, but there's an outside chance I could maybe get Justin Wang.
Justin Wang.
Justin,
Okay.
No.
You guys don't
Don't
know
know.
Wang?
I think I heard of that. Hold on. Let me make sure.
But while you're looking it up, you guys do have to listen to Ren. I don't think Gabe and Jorge know who this is.
No, I think I know Red. Hold on.
If you don't know Ren, this isn't one of those haven't you?
We're
heard
talking
things.
Ren
This is one
Gill.
of- No, just Ren.
Just
Ren,
Ren.
or Ren.
No, I
makes
think
him
his
Ren.
last name is Gill, though.
Yeah, Ren Gill, Welsh
He's a
musician.
Welsh rapper. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Welsh
he's very
musician.
Welsh.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You can tell because of all the mental illness. It's very Welsh.
But you got to start off watching his what's that number one video? The I Am Ren or something like that.
Oh,
It's
hello,
fucking
hi
phenomenal.
Ren.
I,
Hi,
Oh,
I
Ren.
hi,
was
Ren,
gonna,
yeah.
I was gonna say if you could get Vermin Supreme, I feel like we also need you here because I don't know if we can control Vermin Supreme, or we don't know how to control.
Why do you want
I
to
can't
control him?
control Vermin Supreme.
No, not control him, like know how to talk to him.
No,
I guess.
no, honestly, I'll be honest with you. In conversation, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I mean, yeah, he's he's a satirist, he's a comedian, but the guy is he's not just a clown. He's really very genuinely thoughtful. Like his lampooning of his whole shtick. If you watch election cycle to election cycle,
Right.
his act is always lampooning whatever they're doing that's wrong, and it's like, I mean, with Obama, it was drone strikes. It was even like fucking
Necessary
the
evils. Keep going.
healthcare. No, it was
Necessary evils. Come on, buddy.
yeah, no, it was all of the, it was all of
JK,
like
JK,
the
guys.
needless compromises he made.
Right.
With Bush, it was like, we don't have enough war. We need more war. I'm the only presidential candidate on the ballot right now who will dedicate federal funding to time travel research so that I can personally, as your president, go back in time and kill baby Hitler and answer the question for all of you. Like, that's it. That's his shit. He wants federal funding to create and then harness the power of zombies for national energy purposes by putting them all in giant hamster
Speaking
wheels.
of time traveling, there is the car commercial that I saw recently. It was on a reel where it talks about how it's the most safe vehicle on the road, and the car is driving around in like 1900s Germany, and the car just runs over Hitler. It's a baby.
Hey guys,
No,
And
no,
it's like
when it comes to Teslas, let me ask, which do you prefer, the Swastika or the Incel Camino?
Oh, Swastika is what I heard, and I like that
Swastika, yeah.
one. Yeah, Swastika made sense to me.
I think Incel Camino is for the Cybertruck alone.
I
Yeah.
got like I've seen already like maybe 3 Cybertrucks around my neighborhood, and they all look pissed terrible. Holy shit!
It's
One of them
so
in particular,
dumb.
it's so bad. I mean, God, we don't have to go into that. Real quick though, there was I remember seeing a joke or something that like some dude time traveled, and he's like, "All right, like I came back in time and stuff like that, and I killed like some German name. Like I killed this German name dude. He killed 6,000 people and stuff like that. I think everything's safe." And he's like, "Oh." So like it's like one of the butterfly effect. He killed that person that like in his time was the biggest thing, but he ended up making Hitler essentially accidentally. That sort of
I
thing.
want to.
That was a joke. Sorry, laugh. Please laugh. Please clap.
No, you just got me thinking. I want to write this sketch now because I've been working on sketches. Like, one is like 2 Roman legionaries sitting in a, like, sitting after a battle, and one's just like,
No.
Lucius, I know that we need to take all of their land and their animals and their women and their children, but do we really have to put everyone else to the sword? Well, what else are we going to do with them, Cyrus? Maybe give them jobs in this economy. No, we don't pay them, you see. We just take them home and make them do jobs we don't want to do. What happens if they don't do them? Well, then we kill them. And then the whole idea is like, this is how slavery was invented, and it was a humanitarian effort to begin with. But you just gave me.
So slavery was a neoliberal thing, is what you're saying,
Yeah,
basically.
it was a
Saying, yeah, there
neoliberal
it is, there it
humanitarian
is, there it
effort.
is.
Well, then
I
you
love
just-
it. I love
you
it.
you just got me thinking though. It's like, guy from modern age in America time travels back to like to old Germany, kills baby Hitler like we all asked, right? Comes back and he's like, guys, I fucking did it. Like, what? Oh, you wouldn't know. No, hey, there was this really evil guy and he killed so many people. And it just set the world on this terrible path. But I went back and stopped it. And then it's just like, oh, that's great, dude. And then it's just like, turn on TV and it's just Trump and Musk are on there. It's like, I wish there was some guy we could compare this guy to. It's like unprecedented. No one's ever seen it before.
That's great.
Well, I feel like the sketch I was talking about was exactly that, but it's just the guy comes in, he killed somebody, but then it turns out that he made it worse because Hitler came out, basically.
I forget the name of that, but like it was years and years ago. But there was a really, really well made short film I remember of yeah, it's like it's nondescript. It's Germany because you can tell by the language, but like this woman's being mistreated by these soldiers and ruffians and this and that, and she's giving birth, and like you're really rooting for her, and you're really rooting for the baby, and then the baby just turns out to be Hitler. It's like, wow, you spent 15 minutes drawing me in, and it's like I want this lady and her baby to survive. Like, oh fuck, I was wrong.
Oh. Or Jesus. It could be Jesus. Boom.
Listen. Depending on what, like, it's like, I don't know if you're a big young guy or something, but we all got a little Hitler and Jesus inside of us.
Well,
Pretty sure he said that.
if you're yay, it's Jesus, Hitler, and yay.
Oh my god.
I do love. You got to admit, I did love on Saturday Night Live though when fucking it wasn't Michael Che, but Colin. He's like, Elon Musk, also known as White Kanye.
Uh,
Oh,
Saturday Night
man.
Live. Saturday Night Live has lost me for a long time, but that's whatever.
Weekend update with Colin Che and why do I want to say Michael Acosta? Is it Michael Acosta? No, anyway,
I don't
the guys,
remember.
yeah, no, the guy's doing weekend update right
Michael
now.
Che.
Like, yeah, Michael Che and
And the other one. Who's the other guy? We already know is Michael
Canadian-
Che.
the Canadian
Colin.
guy, Colin, Mr.
He's
yeah,
married to Scarlett Johansson. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mr. Scarlett Johansson. Lucky
Yeah.
Colin Johansson. There you go. Got it.
Colin Jost.
Colin Johansson.
Yeah.
Colin
Actually,
Johansson.
if I remember
Jost.
correctly, what was it?
Jost.
A couple weeks ago, they had Bill Murray on, and Bill Murray actually made like a list of like the best weekend updates thing. I know he had number 2, Norm Macdonald, which I believe is the best one. But he only had number 2 because he put his brother as number 1 and stuff like that. But it's basically Norm Macdonald was number 1 essentially. Rest in peace, Norm Macdonald. I feel like his style of comedy is one of the best because it's like one of those guys that like he makes this like he's uncertain whether or not this is gonna be funny, but he still keeps doing it type of thing, which I absolutely love. The deadpan in him is just amazing. Okay. Anyway, by the way, it is 11 o'clock actually, so we actually. Oh shit! Did JP just leave? Wanted him to close out.
Did I drag this out too long?
No, sometimes
I'm
we
not
would.
ghosting. I
people-
have to get a charger for my computer.
Hurry
Let's
up!
close
Hurry up!
out.
It's already- we gotta close out.
Ah, shit. Let me just sit down for a
We
second.
didn't even get into any radical politics that'll get you canceled.
We did
Stop.
not. We did not. But maybe we'll love to have you on another time too, for sure. You're definitely
Okay.
one of the most I would say one of the most animated characters. Sorry, guess
No, it's like,
we've had.
no, I'm
yeah.
I'm 90% sure I'm fictional anyway.
No, dude. And if Yadi is here, you would blow his Gen Z mind. I swear to God.
It's like,
Exactly.
oh yes, it's like yes, you can if you don't take the time to build a 401k or take care of yourself, you can in fact live out everybody else's weird daydreams.
Actually, the reason he couldn't make it because one is not a lot of homework, and 2 he was actually in a job fair, which right now Gen Z is not having a very good time in terms of jobs
Yeah,
at this
they're-
moment. Yeah, unfortunately.
It's
all right,
I'm gonna say this. It's and this is gonna be like the darkest and most serious thing I say here, and I said it as soon as the election results came in, and I doubt any of you will disagree. A lot of people are gonna die.
Yeah.
A lot of people are gonna die. A lot of people. In fact, it's not funny, but everything's funny to me. But even with my voice acting, right? Like I work mostly with like smaller clients with, like I said, usually horror output kind of stuff, like short stories, YouTube kind of thing. Two of my main clients have actually had to like basically put like full pauses on production because their spouses got laid off or something terrible happened, all because of what's gone on. But hey, we own those libs, didn't we? Those lefties. Did you see? I saw there was a college kid with dyed
Yeah, I
hair.
feel owned. Yeah.
And you know what? I'm okay with everything being on fire if some college kid on the internet is crying, but
Yeah.
it's gonna get a lot worse, and I don't think
I
it's.
mean,
gonna be
there's already people dying because of USAID being cut off.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a big thing.
But I was talking about Americans because typically Americans
Yeah.
only care when Americans die. That's why when we say
Yeah.
the plane crashed, 52 people dead, 3 Americans. Like, well, what makes
Right.
Never mind.
I mean, you already had a
But,
bunch of plane crashes, which I don't know if it's because of the FAA thing, but regardless, though, we mentioned this. We mentioned this before. Like, it's gonna be violent, like not just like violence in general, but like economic violence, which is I think the one thing that is probably the most killer for a lot of people. And unfortunately, the darkest thing that I always think of, especially after the election, is like people are gonna have to feel it. Like a lot of these people that like vote against their own interests they will never vote against their own. They will never vote for their interests until they themselves
As
personally feel it.
well, as a guy who lives in a bus, right, and as a guy who made a very, very strong point of learning to make my own food, for instance. Like I remember
Sushi.
I remember during the pandemic, like I was in New Hampshire, so everyone's a fucking gun nut, and they're like, "Do you have enough ammo for what's coming?" I'm like, "Do you have enough rice and beans for what's actually coming?" It's my hope during COVID really was that like we would wake up and figure out like, wow, none of this is working. Maybe we should do it differently. Apparently that wasn't enough. So
No.
now we need to go through this in order for us to become fucking 1970s, 1980s Europe, in a sense. For people to fucking wake up to the fact that there are things outside of your Instagram feed that matter. Now, when I moved into a bus, when I first started saying, you know what, I don't want to pay rent and I don't want to participate. I don't like this society. I don't want to be a part of it any more than I'm obligated to. It won't let me leave. So I got to be here. I'm going to do as little as possible and get away with as much as I can. But people would look at me being like, "Oh, you want to live in a bus? Like what? Just like it's what, the size of one bedroom? Do you want to live in that? What are you, stupid?" Then I noticed that as things got worse, especially now, right now, when I tell people, "Yeah, I live in like a shuttle bus. Like, I'm converting it. I've got, I'm planning on getting solar, and I got my grill, and I got my cooler, and I got my little toilet, and I got a Planet Fitness Black Card membership, so I can take a shower when people at the gas station look at me with that look like it's time for me to take a shower." Like, yeah, but they look at me like, "Oh man, that's smart. That's kind of smart right now." Yeah, like, oh, now it's smart because your world is falling apart. I spent a career trying to tell you your world's falling apart. After that career, I got on YouTube and spent 10 years telling you this is all gonna fall apart and here's how it's gonna happen. Now it has. And they're like, "You're really smart for living in a bus and shitting in a bucket." I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I am."
And I believe that is the best way to go ahead and end this thing. We are past our time right now, at least for the stream. We can talk after the stream, by the way, dude, like
Yeah.
we usually do. So yeah, let's go ahead. Cheers our glass. My glass is empty. Oh wait, no, sorry. I switched to can. Sorry.
I switched to a beer as well, so.
Okay, you know what? And I'll let Gabe close it out. Gabe, go ahead and close this out.
Well, what can you do sometimes? You either fight the system, live by the system, or you die from the system, and that's just life. Cheers.
Cheers.